Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the time, 150 years from now. The place, a luxury spaceship en route to Venus. The story, Venus is a Man's World, by William Tenn.
Some fellows are lucky. They have brothers, but not me. I have nothing but sisters. 2 of them, Carrie and Evelyn. Sometimes Carrie isn't too bad, for a girl, I mean. But Evelyn, boy, she's hopeless. It was Evelyn's idea to put me on that spaceship, jam-packed with 300 females, and all of them aching to get themselves husbands. In the one place that's still to be had, the planet Venus. Well, anyway, 20 minutes after we took off from the spaceport, I was bored stiff.
Ferdinand, do stop fidgeting and sit down.
I don't have anything to do.
Well, I'll read to you and Carrie. Would you like that?
No, I want to do something.
What's the name of the book, sis?
Well, it's titled Family Problems of the Frontier Woman. Doesn't it sound intriguing?
Peachy keen.
That's enough out of you, young man. Why don't you take a walk around the ship?
Can I go with Ferdinand, sis?
Well, wouldn't you rather we start the book?
You should, Carrie. Every girl should read about the family problems of the frontier woman.
Keep quiet, you boy.
Oh, children, let's have enough of that. Now, go ahead, run along, you two. And Carrie, look after Ferdinand. See that he keeps out of mischief.
Gee, this is one big ship, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I sort of wish we were on a cargo ship instead of this liner.
Why? This is super.
On a cargo ship, we could go climbing from deck to deck on a ladder. We could even go to the bridge or the forecastle and talk with the crew.
That's silly. Why would anyone want to do that?
Because ship's crews are men.
Only because we women are too busy with important things like government to run ships.
Says you. Hey, what are you looking at?
This sign. In the event of disaster affecting the oxygen content of the companionway, break glass with hammer upon wall. Remove spacesuit and proceed to don it.
Boy, I hope we have that kind of a disaster. I sure would like to get into one of those.
Oh, you're silly.
Hey, let's go exploring down this way. I see some portholes.
And I see a sign that says, notice, passengers are not permitted past this point.
Come on, there's no one around. And besides, I'm not really a passenger.
Ferdinand, you say you're not really a passenger. Well, what do you mean?
You have to be a citizen of a planet in order to get a passport, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm telling you, ever since they passed that Male Suffrage Act, only women can be Earth citizens. You and Evelyn are passengers, all right. But me, I'm just a male dependent. So when a sign says, off limits for passengers, doesn't mean me. I'm not a passenger, see?
Keep away from that door, Ferdinand. Can't you see the sign?
You and your old signs.
Ferdinand, let's go back to the cabin.
I want to see what's behind this door.
If you don't come back with me this very minute, I'll tell Evelyn.
So what? Hey, this looks like a sonic clock. I wonder if it works by knock or voice.
Ferdinand, I'm going.
Say, I remember one voice key. I wonder if it'll work. 2023, open sesame.
Ferdinand!
Out of all the million possible combinations, I hit it just right. The door clicked open into a a dimly lit hole. As the door closed, a hand closed around my throat. The lights came on, and I found myself staring up the muzzle of a highly polished blaster, held by the biggest man I'd ever seen. We just stood there looking at each other for a while, till finally he said...
Why, you're only a tadpole.
Sir?
A little tadpole. I must be getting jumpy enough to splash.
My name is Ferdinand Sparling. I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr.
I hope for your sake you aren't a tadpole brother to one of them husbandless Senora.
Husbandless what?
Senora, herd of females looking a nest. I come from Flatway, folks.
You're a Venusian?
Yep. What part of Earth are you from? And what are you doing on a spaceship to Venus?
You know, the 3 out of 4.
How's that?
The 3 out of 4. No more than 3 women out of every 4 on Earth can expect to find husbands. Not enough men to go around, with the Third Atomic War and all. Why, back in the 20th century, some of our best men went to the planets. My sister Evelyn says that by now, most of the men on Earth aren't even worth marrying.
Well, that's for sure. Those busybody Enura took care of that. Earth, what a place. I had a belly full.
Why did you come in the first place?
I came looking for a wife. Women are pretty scarce on Venus. I heard that there was a surplus of them on Earth.
I can't understand why any man would even want to marry a woman.
How old are you, Tadpole?
13, almost 14.
Well, that explains a lot of things, Tadpole.
It doesn't explain why you're heading back to Venus.
Because I was in trouble the minute I landed on that woman's world. I didn't know I had to register at a government-operated hotel for transient males. Imagine, they told me a man couldn't say anything in court. All talking was done by female attorneys to a female judge. But I told him off. I told him where I come from, a man spoke his piece when he had a mind to, and his woman walked by his side.
Well, what happened?
Oh, I was found guilty of this and contempt of that. But I wasn't going to serve all those fancy little prison sentences, so I broke out and stowed away.
You mean that you're breaking the law right now?
Sure, aren't you?
Oh, I guess so. I'm also a man outside the law. We're in this together.
Shake, Ferdinand. Ferdinand? That's not a right label for a sprouting tadpole. I'll call you Ford. My name's Butt. Butt Lee Brown.
Is Butt a nickname like Ford?
Yeah, short for Alberta. But I haven't found a man who can draw a blaster fast enough to call me that. You see, Pop came over in the 80s with the first wave of immigrants from Ontario. Named all of us boys after Canadian provinces. I was the youngest, so I got the name they were saving for a girl.
Golly, Mr. Butt, you must have had a lot of brothers.
Yeah, full nest. They're Sass. His real name is Saskatchewan. Manny after Manitoba. And Uke, he was named for Yukon. I got one for every province and territory in Canada.
Golly, all I have is 2 sisters.
Oh? Tell me about them.
Well, there's Carrie. She's almost 16.
Well, how about your other sister? She a little older?
She's old, all right. Evelyn's almost 21.
She pretty?
Who?
Your sister Evelyn.
Oh, I don't know. She's healthy. She's got very good teeth.
If I know her breed, she's bossy and opinionated.
Well, are no women?
There goes the dinner gong, Ford. You better scat. Growing tadpoles need their vitamins.
Could I bring you some chow? I could stuff it in my pocket and sneak it back here.
No, thanks. I've stashed away enough provisions. I got plenty of kelp and Venusian mud grapes to last the trip. Oh, you better shove off, Ford. They'll start looking for you.
Guess I had better. Well, I'll see you right after dinner, Mr. Butt.
Just plain butt to you, Ford.
Oh, okay. I'll be seeing you. 2023. Open sesame.
Ferdinand, please be seated. I want to talk with you.
Now? They just rang the dinner gong.
I am aware of that. Now, where have you been?
Around.
I demand a straight answer. Where have you been, Ferdinand?
I told you, sis, around. And don't call me Ferdinand. Call me Ford. That's what Bud calls me.
But who is Bud?
Oh, nobody. I just made it up.
Ferdinand.
I can't tell you. I can't.
You must.
Well, you promise you won't turn him in. Well, Bud's my friend. He's a Venusian. He's going home.
Aboard our ship, the Eleanor Roosevelt? Ferdinand, don't you realize you've been consorting with a stowaway, a criminal? What sort of antisocial ideas has this warmongering masculinist been putting into your head?
Bud's a nice guy. He asked about you.
Oh, indeed.
I told him you had very good teeth.
Really? Well, take me to this man.
I will if you promise not to turn him in.
No, I promise.
He's in there. The door has a sonic lock. I know the combination. Watch. 2023. Open sesame.
Oh, it's so dark in there.
Bud. Hey, Bud. I brought along my sister Evelyn. She'd like to meet you. It's all right. Put on the lights.
Oh,
An honor, Miss Sparling. Please come right in.
First, Mr. Butt, I
It's
want...
Brown. Butley Brown.
First, Mr. Brown, you realize that you are committing two crimes. One, the political crime of traveling without a visa, and two, the criminal act of stowing away without paying your fare.
Golly, Sid, that's no way to talk to Bud.
I take it you either have no defense or care to make none.
I wonder if all the Anura talk like that. And you want to foul up Venus.
We haven't done so badly on Earth after the mess you men made of politics.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, here.
Oh, you keep quiet, Ferdinand. And another point, Mr. Butley Brown. I don't suppose you know that under space regulations, you've made this poor child an accessory.
Bud didn't make me anything.
Let's not talk law, female. Let's talk sense. I'm in trouble because I went to Earth to look for a wife. You're standing right here now because you're on your way to Venus for a husband. So, let's.
Let's? Let's what? Are you daring to suggest
Now,
that...
Miss Sparling, no hoopla. I'm saying let's get married, and you know it.
Gee, sis, say yes.
And what makes you think that I consider you a desirable husband?
Figure it this way. If you wanted a poodle, you're pretty enough to pick one up on Earth. When you go charging off to Venus, you don't want a poodle, you want a man, and I'm one. I own 3 islands in the Galertan Archipelago. Good farmland when they're cleared. I got no bad habits, outside of having my own way. I'm passable good-looking. My teeth are good, too. Besides, if you marry me, you'll be the first mated on this ship, and that's a splash most nesting females like to make.
You know, there's more to marriage than just doing...
So there is. Well, we can try each other for taste. Now, me, I'd vote yes.
Me too, I'd vote yes.
Now I'll cast my vote.
Well, you guessed it. She broke her promise. I suppose the kiss did it. She put it a stowaway to the captain, and he sent a detail from the ship's crew to haul Bud off to the brig. Well, later that afternoon, all the passengers, 300 females and me, gathered in the lounge for the hearing. It's all on account of you. Shush! Don't shush me. You promised your word wouldn't get Bud into trouble. And you snitch.
Shush, the captain is rapping for quiet.
By authority vested in me under the Pomona College Treaty, the stowaway Evanusian, Butley Brown, will be tried for violation of Articles 16 to 21 inclusive of the Space Transport Code. Purser, bring in the prisoner. Ladies!
Those cheap extroverts, and they call themselves responsible.
Ladies! Dear ladies! Thank you, ladies. Butley Brown, I order your person and belongings impounded for the duration of this voyage as set forth in sections 41 and 45.
Captain, the sections are 43 and 45.
You're quite right, Miss Sparling. Sections 43 and 45 of the Mother Anita Law Emergency Interplanetary Directives.
Aren't you even going to give me a fair trial before you hang me?
Ladies, I beg of you, ladies.
Captain, what exactly are the charges against me?
You're a stowaway.
I can pay for my passage.
You can? Well, then I guess we can dismiss the charges. Ladies, gentle ladies.
Just a moment, Captain.
Yes, Miss Sparling?
I demand justice. You can't let him off that lightly. Besides, there's the other charge.
What other charge?
Assault. That comes under sections 18 through 35 of the McDonald Law.
It does? Well, then would you tell the court in your own words exactly what happened?
Well, when I first laid eyes on Mr. Brown, he seemed to be a fundamentally decent chap, despite his barbaric notions on equality between the sexes, or worse. I was positive I could shame him into a more rational social behavior and make him give himself up.
Go on, Miss Sparling.
Just as I was getting over the colossal impudence involved in his proposing marriage and was considering the offer seriously on its merits, as one should consider all suggestions, he deliberately dropped the pretense of reason.
Get her.
Ferdinand!
My name is Ford, and you're nothing but a big snitch. You promised not to get Bud into trouble.
Your name is Ferdinand, and stop trying to act forcefully like a girl. It doesn't become you.
Miss Sparling, did I understand you to say that you were considering Mr. Brown's proposal of marriage?
That is true. I will not deny that he appealed to me. He appealed to me as most savage ancients appeal to their women, as an emotional machine. throw their proper switches, says his theory, and the female surrenders herself ecstatically to the doubtful and bloody murk of masculine plans.
I'm afraid I still don't understand. What exactly did Mr. Brown do?
He kissed me.
Ladies, ladies, please, ladies. Mr. Brown, do you deny kissing Miss Sparling?
No, Miss Sparling, do you deny enjoying the kiss?
Your question is irrelevant and immaterial.
Oh, she enjoyed it.
How would you know?
Well, I was right there. I could tell the way she acted. She sort of held the back of his neck, closed her eyes, and just hung on.
What were you doing there?
I introduced him. I met Bud first. Then I took Sis over there to meet him.
I see. Ferdinand Sparling, I hereby order your detention for the duration of this voyage for aiding and abetting a stowaway as set forth in sections 41
43
and 43
and 45.
45.
And you can't arrest Ferdinand. He's only a child. You gave me your word no charges would be lodged against the boy.
That was the usual promise one makes to an informer. But I made it before I knew it was Butley Brown you were talking about. I didn't want to arrest Butley Brown. You forced me. So I'm breaking my promise to you, just as I understand you broke your promise to your brother. I'm afraid both Ferdinand and Butley Brown will be picked up at New Kalamazoo Spaceport and sent terrorward for trial.
But I used all our money to buy passage.
I'm sorry. You'll have to return with your brother. Of course, there is a way out.
There is? Well, tell me, please.
Miss Sparling, if you'd marry Brown... No, don't look at me like that. If you'd marry Brown, he would go on your passport as a dependent male member of your family.
Do you think I'd marry that desperado? Why, he doesn't know enough to sit back and let a woman run things. Captain, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'll marry him!
Perhaps I should be, but that's what comes of putting men in responsible positions. See here, Miss Sparling, I didn't want to arrest Brown. I'd still prefer not to. The officers and crew of my ship all go along with me.
Why not? Men always think like men. They never use logic. They just rely on masculine intuition.
Maybe so. This ship's crew are all residents of Earth. But our work requires us to be on Venus several times a year. We wouldn't want to cross any member of the Brown clan. They're all men of influence on the polar continent.
No, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. If anyone gets in their way, they merely oxidize them with a blaster.
Take Butt. He's a big man in his own bailiwick, the Galertan Archipelago. When he wants to put somebody in office, well, he just appoints them.
Mr. Brown has that much influence, you say?
Power, actually. The kind a strong man usually wields in a newly settled community.
Oh, Mr. Brown, if I marry you, would you promise to see that I'm appointed resident governor of the Galertan Archipelago?
No.
Attaboy, Bud. Don't give in.
Ferdinand, this does not concern you. Mr. Brown, I might even consider a county clerkship.
Nope.
Stick by your blasters, Bud. Show her you're a real man.
Mr. Brown, it would seem to me that if you really want to marry this attractive young lady, a compromise could be worked out.
Well, I could make her sheriff.
Oh, no.
Would the position of sheriff of the Galertan Archipelago be acceptable, Miss Sparling?
Yes.
Good. I'll marry you here and now.
I want to be a bridesmaid. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's me every time.
Bud, you shouldn't have sold out. Why did you do it? You don't have to marry her for my sake. I wouldn't care what they did to me.
That's all right, Tadpole. I'd do anything for my favorite brother-in-law.
I'd sure like to be your brother-in-law. But gosh, you don't have to marry Sis. You can have any one of these 300 females. Why marry Sis?
I'm stubborn. What I like at first, I keep on liking. What I want at first, I keep on wanting until I get it.
Yeah, but making her sheriff, what's going to happen to our man's world?
Don't worry none about that, Ford, my boy. Wait till after we meet and go out to my islands. She'll find herself sheriff over exactly 2 Earth males, you and me. And I got a hunch that'll keep her pretty busy, huh? How about that, huh?
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features An Eye for a What? A story of the Earthmen who thought they couldn't hurt a friendly alien if their lives depended on it, while all the time their lives did depend on it. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Venus is a Man's World, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by William Tenn and adapted for radio by Arthur Small. Featured in our cast were Dennis Bellavio as Ford, Bob Haig as Butt, Jerry Ann Raphael as Carrie, John Gibson as the captain, and Frederica Chandler as Evelyn. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Next week, X-1 presents Trap by Finn O'Donovan. Fur hunters tangle with a bottle of firewater and a new kind of trap which catches more than they bargain for. We hope you'll be listening next week at this same time. This week, the Boy Scouts are celebrating their 47th year of service to American youth. Throughout the country, there will be open houses, courts of honor, indoor and outdoor campfires, cub circuses, scout expositions, explorer events, and other special activities. This is the second year of the 4-year program, Onward for God and My Country, which was launched to help prepare America's boys to live in today's world and prepare them to carry their full share in the years ahead. It's designed to give youth an opportunity to develop physical fitness, self-reliance, a sense of personal responsibility, a spirit of helping people, a willingness to share, an understanding of our government's democratic processes, and a firm spiritual foundation. On Sunday, February 10th, churches of all faiths will observe Boy Scout Sunday, with scouts attending services in uniform. The world on a new hotline. Listen for news on the hour and the exciting hotline service all day, every day, on most of these stations.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you, weirdos? What's going on? I'm just eating my cereal bar here, drinking my coffee, getting ready to get loaded. So, it's voting day. Terrible Tuesday. for most Americans, Fat Tuesday. I don't want to know who you voted for. Please don't post crap on Facebook. I voted for this guy and you better, because if you don't, you suck. You know, I was always taught from as far back as I can remember in school that voting was a personal thing. You didn't have to share any voting information with anyone. Your friends, family, the government, nobody is to know who you vote for. Keep that shit to yourself. It's private, all right? Religion and politics should be left at home or in the church or in the government, not all three fucking places. No. No, you get too many zealots out there running around. Sycophants. Yeah, I'm going to take my daughter out today and we're going to go vote. She's not going to tell me who she voted for, and I'm not going to tell her who I voted for. Because it's personal. It's her business. She's going to vote for who she wants to, and I'm not going to look at her and go, oh, you voted for that person. No, fuck that. That's what they do. They divide us. They get between us. They make us look at the other person next to us with the stink eye because they're wearing somebody else's stuff. Fuck them. You know, wear your hats and your fucking shirts, all right? But keep that shit to yourself. I mean, it's obvious who you're voting for, right? Most of the time. I don't want to know, honestly. When they don't give us anything to fucking vote for, anybody worthy of our vote, then yeah, it pisses me off that people are running around going, yay, this guy is the best. Ooh, this person is the best. Yay, vote for her. It's all bullshit. There are a million better people in the country than either of these two fuckers. I probably have 10 people in this town that would make a better president than anybody in Washington right now, right? Look around your hometown. There's got to be at least one person in your hometown that would make a far better president than anything we've had in the last, 50 fucking years? As long as I've been alive, I've seen shit presidents. The only good president that I've ever seen, Jimmy Carter, and he got shit on. Why? Because he was a fucking peanut farmer, and he was a real guy. He's still the realest motherfucker out there. Yeah, we haven't had a good president since him. You know what? He didn't have the popularity that all of these other douchebags have had. But what did they fucking do, right? Not a fucking thing. Every step of the way, every president since has just been fucking up, have just been stacking up the cards in their favor. So when they get done, they get an easy deal and they're out of there. Fuck that. It sickens me. Right, chicken? Well. Most politicians can make that chicken face for me. They can make that big, oh, and you know what to do with it once you make that face. Dive, dive. Fucking A. So, my daughter comes to me and says, so, I gotta go to the DMV and vote. It's like, good luck with that. She's got to do the, I guess her registration, she's not sure if her registration works, so she wants to go do the same day registration vote thing. That's fine. That's whatever she wants to do, right? She's an adult with her own mind. I'm not going to badger her to vote for who I want people to vote for. That's bullshit, all right? Get a fucking attorney. What are you, a fucking attorney? You gotta vote for this guy. You have to. That's what I dislike about those people who help the political party. What do they call them? Stooges? Goons. The people who sit in the office and or go out and put up posters and signs and tell people, yay, my contendant is better than yours. Give me a break. As far as I'm concerned, if you need to throw millions of dollars into your campaign, what is the fucking problem that you can't get a vote without spending millions of dollars? You should be able to get everybody's vote on your own fucking merit. If you can't, without having to spend millions of dollars, no, you don't get my vote. And I don't know how many times I have got one party or the other coming to me on the phone, sending me texts saying, we're dying, we need your money, we're never gonna make it without you. Bullshit. It's already been decided, okay? It's already been decided. And then, even if it were our vote, they would just say, nah, electoral college, your vote doesn't count. We're not going to go with the popular, but we're not going to go with the actual count. And, of course, one side or the other, they get the popular vote, and they're like, yes, you have to go with the popular vote. Had they not gotten the popular vote, they'd be screaming electoral college, right? It's just an escape clause, right? Oh no, what's going to happen? Don't worry, we got the electoral college. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what these idiots vote. We're still going to get our guy in there. Go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. It's a sad thing that politics, democracy has become politics. That's it. There's no more democracy left. Or if there is democracy left, it was never what we thought it was. If it can easily be changed into what it is now, democracy bad. We need like a matriarchal hierarchy, right? The women in charge. Women don't want to fucking kill each other. Men do. That's why we're at war all the time. That's why it's always bullshit from across the aisle. You know? Most of the time, if you get rational thinking women in a room together, they're going to talk and they're going to work shit out. You get, not that there is much of a thing, but if you try to get rational men into a room together, they will not get along. They'll take up sides. They'll argue. They'll get tough, right? They'll put on airs like, oh man, I'm tougher than you. No, I'm tougher than. They got to do that masculine thing, right? And then eventually they're going to duke it out. Because most men, all they can think with is their dicks and their muscles, period. You know, I don't understand it. When I was going through puberty, between 12 and 20, right? I guess that's about right, puberty. I thought with my dick and my muscles, right? I'm a tough guy. I want to fuck everything, right? You know, that's okay when you're at that period in your life where humans normally seek out a mate, so you gotta be tough and you gotta think with your dick, right? To get the best broad and get the best setup for you, right? You gotta be tough and you gotta think with your dick. You gotta be dick strong, right? Men keep thinking like this for the rest of their lives, and they're 60-year-old men with political power thinking with their dicks. Bunch of dick-thinking motherfuckers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dick thinkers. So you got assholes in office who think with their dick, and then you've got a lot of women in office who have to pretend they have a dick just to be able to be allowed in with the men. Does she talk like she's got a dick? All right, let her in. There you go. You know, listen to our political candidates, right? You just have to think of who's got the biggest dick, right? Asshole or asshole number 2? Asshole number 1 or asshole number 2? Pick one, all right? Believe me, they both got big dicks, okay? That's why they're out there right now. You got to have a big dick to go out there and try to convince the world that you should be in charge of this portion of the world. Fuck that, right? No. And the female candidate, she's got a pretty big dick, all right? She swings a pretty big dick, but she's pretending, so she doesn't really know what to do with it, all right? The male contender, he is going to be putting that dick all over the place, smacking people upside the face with it, sticking it in places where it shouldn't go. And there's a lot of men out there going, yeah, fucking A, man, big dick motherfucker. A lot of women are out there going, yay, big dick motherfucker. And they're seeing this female candidate, and they're thinking, her dick ain't big enough. There you go. That's all there is to it. Her dick ain't big enough. It don't matter how much she pretends to have a dick, it ain't ever going to be big enough to go up against all that dick and all that money. There you go. There you go. I don't claim to know anything about politics other than what I see, what I read between the lines, because I try not to listen to what they're saying. Because if they're saying it really, really, really loud, it's got to be bullshit. The louder they yell it at you, the least you can trust them, right? And I don't trust either candidate because they're both screaming at the top of their lungs that they're better than the other guy, and the other guy works for the devil, basically. They're trying to take us to hell, all right? That candidate, don't vote for him. He's gonna take us to hell. Don't vote for her. She's gonna take us to hell. We're already in hell, all right? Look at politics. Look at Washington. Hell has arrived, man. And it's just who wants to wear the hat of the devil. President Beelzebub, hello? Yeah. What are you going to do, right? Vote. Because that's your right. And it's your duty. It's your duty to vote. Yeah, but first they turn you into a stupid voter, and then they get you out there to vote. if we were smart voters, we would have two candidates that meant something other than to themselves. Because I'm sure they mean a lot to themselves. To the country, neither one of these fucking douchebags have done anything worth a piss for this country. And they've both had 4 years to do something, right? He had 4 years to put this fucking country together. And what did he did? He set himself and his family up. She had 4 years to do exactly what she's claiming she's going to do as president. What is the vice president's job? Take care of the country, right? That's the vice president's job, to take care of the people, the children, the families. She fucking blew it. No wonder people are running, screaming for double douchebag with the bigger dick. Of course they are. Because she was ineffectual as vice president. It seemed like all she did was fucking drink, you know? I never understand what she's saying. It's like listening to Paula Abdul hopped up on fucking pills. That's what it's like listening to her. You watch her and you think, oh God, this is the best they can come up with. But then again, I watch him and I go, oh God, is this the best they could come up with? If it was about the voters, we would put somebody in there who we could get behind. I mean, to get behind either of these bastards, you got to cover your eyes, hold your breath, plug your nose, and push. And hope that they're going to do something worth a piss. And it hasn't been enough. Because how many times have we gotten someone into office and then we're so grateful when they left? It's like, oh man, I'm so bummed I voted for that. Every single fucking time I voted, it's been that, oh man, maybe I should have voted for the other guy. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It's always that, maybe I should have voted for the other guy. Because that's where they want you. They want you to not know whether you're fucking coming or going. You know, they just want you confused as hell so that you'll just listen to the bullshit. Listen to the propaganda. Use the propaganda to guide your vote. Period. End of fucking story. And I just don't. It hurts. It hurts everything. The brain, the heart, the soul. When you just want one candidate. What happened to having a candidate that was so much for this country, who had so many people backing that candidate, that we actually said, you know what? Let's just let him have it for a third term, right? We're in so much shit right now. The world is such a fucked up place. And this guy, he's got it going on. Let's let him have a third term. Boom. If the people, the popular vote says yes, once again, let's elect Franklin Delano Roosevelt, then we will have a third-term president. And we did. He died in office trying to save this country from World War II itself and the madness that was happening in the 40s. Right? I don't want to say one way or the other why we actually fought World War II. There's a lot of theories out there now, 60 years, 70, 80 years past World War II. There's a lot of people coming up saying, hey, the real reason we did this was this. We actually were fighting because of aliens or whatever bullshit, right? There's a million scenarios now for why we fought World War II. I won't get into those. I think it was the aliens. Who knows? Actually, I've got some theories on world wars, world power, Judaism, Catholicism, these battling religions fighting for our souls, right? That's why we have these religious wars. Because this book and its followers are fighting for, they're not fighting for souls, they're fighting for constituents, basically. Oh man, don't get me started on political wars fought for religion, because it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You talk about how to keep religion and state separate, right? And what do? It's a mashup, a constant mashup. You can't be elected president if you're not religious. If you don't follow some higher power, you cannot be president, because you will not get the people behind you. People will not vote for somebody who thinks that they live in a fantasy world by having religion in their lives. We're never going to get an atheist president, a president who just does not believe that there is a God at all, period. We're never going to get that president. Why? Because the world does not and will not accept the fact that there isn't some kind of higher power, some kind of higher authority, right? 95% of the planet, to atheists' minds, are living in a fantasy world, right? And the 95% of the planet who believe in something, follows some kind of religion, right? They think that they need to convert us from atheist to whatever religion they are, right? It's like their goal in life is to make sure that 100% of the planet is following some kind of religion. Why? Because people who follow a religion so stringently, so strongly, so strictly are easily manipulated, period. When you have an entire country who pray in one direction to one God and are beholden to this government because of that, right? There's no swaying. And then when that government says, guess what? We have to go kill that country because they don't like our religion. Everybody grabs their guns and run. They just, let's go kill. Let's do it. Religious wars, they're still happening. You would think that in the last 100 years, after all of the wars that we've fought that have killed millions of people, World War II alone killed upwards of 60 million people, right? Of course, we only lost about 100,000 max. There's a little something screwy there, right? How come millions of Jews died, right? And millions of Russians who had a different way of religiousizing, right? Because it was a religious war. World War II was nothing short of a religious war. My God is better than your God. I don't want to hear about your God. I don't want to think about, I don't even want to see your God. In fact, you remind me of your God, so we're just going to wipe all of you out. Once we wipe all of you out, who's going to know about your God, right? There you go. Still fighting religious wars today. to warm up my coffee. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Oh, telling you. I didn't do shit yesterday. I think I got done here and had a late breakfast. My wife made longanisa, potatoes and eggs. So I had a few tacos. Oh, they were great. And then last night, of course, we had taco night. Taco Monday? What? And that was great. I had like 4 tacos. Never made my cake yesterday. But then I got into shit. I jumped into bed and passed out for a few hours, and got up and did my Minecrafting Monday thing. I better check the dog situation. Got a dog stuck in a door here. Oh yeah, the dogs are up. Little Tootsie Roll wants to go in with Natalie, but she's got to get some water first. Big Face here, boy, she's a drinker. She's a liking to drink. Oh, that little girl. Where do you want to go? You want to go outside now? Oh. I gotta leave the doors open for a few minutes so they can meander around through the house and decide what they want to do. Sam, drink some water and then go out. Hi, buddy. Good morning. Toma agua. Oh, you're such a good boy. Whoop. She just goosed you in the pooper. Whoop. Hi, bud. How's it going, buddy? Toma agua, and then you can go back to bed. Drink some water. Go out and go pee-pee. Doggy doors. That's what I need to do. I just need to cut doggy doors. Totally. Let's see, a doggy door hole. I just need a nice rectangle at the right height. And then I need pieces of yoga mat to tack inside for a flap. Yoga mat is thick. It's dark, so it'll keep light from going through the door hole. And it's also thick so it will absorb sound and keep a sound barrier too. Because I know if I do that on my daughter's door, she's going to be like, well, then I won't have any privacy, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm tired of getting up. I'm sick of it. Let me go check the dogs. Dog's outside, waiting on Big Dog. Boy. It's about time to grab the heaters and bring them in. It's getting just a little too cold. A friend of mine came over last night, and he just lives here in the neighborhood. And he walked over, and he showed up, and he's got his hoodie pulled up and all tied down around his face real small. And he's like, man, it got real cold quick, huh? It's about time. Yep. It's a cold mofo now. So our house is, it leaks like a sieve. The wind and the rain and the cold and the heat, it just comes and goes through this fucking place. It's a mobile home. I mean, the walls, you got outside lap siding and interior paneling. It was never meant to be sealed up tight, right? It was never built sealed up tight. It was built so that it's incredibly difficult to seal it up tight. Yeah. It's a mobile home, an old mobile home. I think this one was built back in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Big Face. One more push and you'd have had it. Back to the water she goes. I think she's part dolphin or something. Yeah. Okay. Big Face, did you get enough water? You want to sit down up here? Huh? You want to sit down up here? She don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. We're going to see Los Tigres del Norte on Friday night. There you go. If I had my druthers, I like that word, we would go to see Los Lobos on Saturday too. Because they're just playing up the street here. But I don't I don't say, hey, take me to a concert, man. That's my daughter's thing. I let her be the one in charge. I'll say, hey, these guys are in town. That's about as far as I'll push it. Well, okay. Starcrawler. That was all me. I was like, we're getting tickets, we're going. Period. Lucas Nelson. That was all me, but it was all for me, right? It was like, who wants to go? I think it was my daughter and I and a friend who went the first time. We went to see Lucas Nelson out here. And the second time, I took a friend because I wanted to go. So I got an extra ticket and took a local friend. But usually it's my wife and daughter, and mainly my daughter, who does concert stuff. And then I'm just along for the ride, baby. Or I am the ride. One or the other. Either way, I don't care. As long as I'm involved, right? And sometimes, even if I'm not involved, I'm like, wow, yeah, cool. Sometimes the two of them will go out to see a show locally. And that's cool. I think the last concert my wife went to, she went alone. Right? Because it was a little pricey, and it was her music, and it was like, well, I would just be going to fill a seat, and it's not worth it to you to spend that money. Just so that I'll be sitting next to you, right? It'd be nice, but in a perfect world, yeah, sure, we could afford that, but nah. And it was a birthday gift from my daughter to my wife. Here, go see your band. Go see that guy that you like. And it's cool because my wife and I and my daughter, we all kind of share similar musical interests. My daughter and I are closer in musical interests, but we still, all three of us will listen to just about anything any one of us puts on. Because it's all good, baby. We have good taste, so therefore whatever music we listen to is going to be good to listen to because we have good taste in music. I was trying to segue into politics, but there's just no good sense in any of it. I think the most sensible thing about politics is to just stay uninvolved, right? You can do more for your community and your life than the government will ever do because they're not beholden to you. They're beholden to themselves. The government is for the government, by the government, because of the government. It's self-proliferation, they're all about themselves. The government has nothing to do with the people. It has to do with the country. The country feeds the government. The government does not take care of the people. The government takes care of the government and the country to make the government better and stronger, right? And anybody who believes differently is misguided, or mainly not misguided, but programmed, propagandized, right? You start believing the bullshit that you're fed, and pretty soon you're just full of shit, right? Because if your first response is to go, I'm not eating that bullshit, right? You're intelligent. You're a wise person. After a while, people start to break down the mermaid effect, right? The most ugliest person in the world is next to you all the time. And after a while, because you're with that person all the time, they start to look a little less unappealing, right? Same thing, politics. After a while, it's like, well, this guy looks less unappealing than that guy over there, so I'll go with this guy because he's not as bad as that. That's the way it is, And we're so easily programmed because they just give us what, the answers that they think we want. Good morning. Be sure to vote. Just be an informed voter. don't vote because your party says to vote this way, or your parents, or your work, or whatever. I know that some employers will incentivize their, is that the word? Their employees to vote a certain way because their company depends on that political candidate and getting there and making them. And it's like, really? Then you're not going to buy people's fucking votes? Like I said earlier, votes are personal, they're private, they're like religion. Keep that shit to yourself. Don't push your shit on anybody else. You know, don't go out and go, neener, neener. Yeah. Just vote, but do it informed. Think, read, research. Don't just believe the bullshit on TV and go out and vote. Most people, that's what they're doing. And it's sad. Totally sad. So my daughter's going to get up at some point. She sleeps in because she stays up late. I think she went to sleep kind of early last night. I'm looking around to see if I can find my political pamphlet. My election brochure. I know it's around here somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to go through, make notes, check notes, that kind of thing. That's always good when you vote. They send you a little packet. Read it. All right. If you're going to read about a political party or an opponent or something, don't read the shit that they're saying. Don't read the shit that the other guy is saying. Okay. Don't read those because they're just trying to sway you one way or the other, and one party is going to tell you what you want to hear, right? And the more you hear that you like, well, then you're going to vote that way, right? So go to a reliable source. I'm not going to tell you what a reliable source is. You need to figure that out, because if you're listening to me, you know, what makes you think I'm a reliable source, right? Go find a reliable source who is going to be open and honest and impartial, and listen to what they say about either candidate, right? I read between the lines. I pay attention to what's going on besides what's being said. I watch the reality of a person, not the bullshit that they want you to see. So I've got a pretty good handle on our political candidates. Basically, all you have to do is look into their face, their eyes. The eyes, the eyes have it. It's like I was watching that Lacey Peterson documentary, 3 episodes on Netflix. And from the beginning, back in 2000, whatever, 2003, when this initially happened, and they first popped up on the news, and they first showed pictures of Scott Peterson, I looked into his eyes, and I thought, he did it. I looked in his face, and I saw those dead eyes looking back, those dead eyes with that slant, those dead eyes, and they were just... There was nothing. It was like looking into a shark's eyes, a doll's eyes. It was just horrible. And so that's kind of what it is with politicians. I just look into their eyes. As soon as I look into their eyes, I know whether or not they're full of shit, if they're the devil incarnate, or if they're actually there for the people. Usually what I see are zealots and sycophants and narcissists. And it's like inherent to the job, you know. It's like you have to be a narcissist. You have to love the sound of your own voice, and you have to love the sight of your own face in order to be a politician. And politicians should be, no, I don't want to be in the limelight. No, let's make it about the people. Let's make it about the policies. Let's make it about this. No, you know what? I'll talk, but let me do a radio thing. Let me do a thing where I talk. You know, let me go on the news, but I'm only going to speak a short speech, because the longer you talk, the more they can just take bits and pieces and manipulate it into something else, right? So we don't get a president like that. We get president that want to go out there and they just want to blah, 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 and just because they love the sound of their own fucking voice. And it's just hideous. God, I was listening to both candidates, and it sickened me listening to them because they were just so both full of shit, right? And, you know, they either appeal to you or they don't. And it's like, this guy appeals to me because of this. Well, she appeals to me because of this. And it's like, well, that's right. But is that really a reason to have somebody rule the country because they talk nice, or because you like the way they look, or you like the things that they say? You know, well, show me what have they done, right? Show me something that they've done, right? Well, this guy makes a lot of money and she was the vice president. It's like, okay, show me something, you know? That doesn't mean anything to me. All of this stuff that they keep throwing out there doesn't mean jack fucking wad squat. It doesn't. The people, they're both fucking lousy shithole fucking people. Why? Because they're in the government, so they've got to be. It's inherent to the fucking job. Ugh. So, yeah, what do? You go there, you write in, vote for me, because these guys fucking suck. Or you just write in, we're fucking doomed. You know? Punch both of them and let them figure it out. Right? Punch neither of them and let somebody back there decide, right? Who gives a fuck? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really count. And I guess the ignorant person watching would think, well, gosh, he's going to take his daughter out to vote. I'm sure he's got her convinced that she's got to vote a certain way, or she's going to write her name, and she's going to do just... No. My daughter is a free thinker. She is her own person. Daddy does not control what she does or what she thinks or how she acts or how she votes or what she is into. No. You know, oh, his poor family, they have to put up with bullshit, you know. My family, my two girls, they do whatever the hell they want, and they know it, right? I don't control my household. It's not my castle. Daddy doesn't rule. They come to me and ask me questions. Pretty much that's what I am. I am the wise man on the hill, right? Go ask your father. Get your father to do it, right? I'm not the one who says, get in here and watch this. You have to understand what's going on. Now watch this. Don't listen to that lady. She's evil. Listen to him. I don't do this, right? Because it's a personal thing. Voting is about the one person deciding his or her own fate, right? For themselves. It's just unfortunate that we're going to go out there and we're going to vote. And then a group of assholes are going to decide. They're just going to decide for us, right? It don't matter how we vote. They can just decide, we're going to go this way. But the popular vote says, fuck it. We're going to go this way. Because we are the Electoral College. So we can decide, you know, because we're bought and paid for by some fucking asshole and some, you know, belligerent fucking party. Either one. So what do? That's the thing called faith, right? You put your faith in God and country, and I can spit in one hand and piss in the other, right? And see which one fills up quicker. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If they're trying real hard to convince you of something, you need to pull back the curtain. Because there's something going on. There's something really, really, really evil going on. And we allow it because they put these pretty faces in front of us. They talk this pretty talk, walk this pretty walk, and then they get in there and, you know, they spend a year getting in there, and then they get in there and they spend 3 years fucking it up, and then another year trying to get back in there. It don't matter who. It don't matter who. You can say, well, my candidate, he did a great job while he was in office, and well, no, my candidate did a great job while he was... Well, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. You know, if you're looking at it as a business owner, then yeah, you rocked. If you're looking at it as an average citizen, you're pretty much screwed, no matter who it is, right? They throw us a bone once in a while. They make us feel like we had a say. Every once in a while, they'd let the popular vote have it because, we were going to give it to that guy anyway. Oy, oy. So, this is one of those days that I hate. You know, ooh, I love voting day. No. This is one of the most tortured fucking days of my life. I wish I'd never fucking started voting. I wish I'd never registered. I wish I'd never done any of that fucking shit. It's just brought me fucking nothing but heartache. Misery and fucking heartache from the beginning. And it's not because, oh, my candidate didn't win. It's not that kind of shit. It's just that I've seen it since I was 18 that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You get your guy in there and he fucks up. You get the other guy in there and he fucks up. Fuck up, fuck up, fuck up. It's just all bullshit. You know, nothing ever really gets done. We argue across party lines. The House of Representatives represent big business and big politics. It doesn't represent us. You know, the House of Big Dicks. I mean, that's all it is. You know, and they're just out to stick it to us. Oh, I want so badly for there to be a political candidate that was actually by the people, for the people, and who was actually going to get in office and do something for the American people, right? I mean, the first thing that a president should do in office is take care of the people. Right, you make good on all of those campaign promises, right? You go to get the Native American vote and you say, I'm going to get into office and I'm gonna do all I can for you. Then you fucking do that. You know, if you tell the lunatic fringe that when I get into office I'm going to go to Area 51 and we're going to figure it all out. Well, then you get into office and you do that. You find out the information. You know, 130 some, 100 and something odd treaties were made and never honored with the Native American people, right? The trail of broken treaties. How about we honor a treaty? How about we do honor just one, at least one, right? The president who comes into office and the first thing they do is look at all of those treaties and honors one of them, at least one. Fucking, come on. Show some fucking class, right? You know, give the people back their land and let them be in charge of it. Not it's your land, but you're beholden to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, right? So you don't really own anything. You live on a reservation that we own, and we allow you to live there as long as you obey the rules, right? That's bullshit, right? We need to give them back the Black Hills. We need to give them back big areas. National parks, they should be in charge of national parks, right? They should be wildlife, game, forestry, all right? It's their wheelhouse. Why would we not let them be in charge of taking care of our natural resources? Iron Eyes Cody, right, crying over the pollution. To me, it seems only natural. I mean, I think that's what I would do. I would give Native Americans the choice to not just live on the reservations but thrive on the reservations, make the reservations larger, allow them to encompass national parks where they can't live on the national parks, but they can be a part of the landscape, right? Maybe they can live nomadically through where they can set up their villages of teepees, because I know that there is a real hearkening in Native American culture to live as the ancestors did, right? So why not allow them the freedom to do that? Give them the national park. Say, look, you decide. We would like it if you didn't build, because that's what they're preserved for. So that's why we're giving them to you, knowing full well that you're not just going to put casinos up, right? You're not going to build country clubs and golf courses and track homes. Because given to big real estate and big companies, banks, and that's what would happen. We would have these pop-up neighborhoods in the national parks. A Starbucks on every, dirt corner. Nah. I think, honoring Native American culture, since they had the country first, it's their fucking country. Let's honor a couple of treaties. Let's make reparations properly. Why do we have to continually try to manipulate and control a people that should not be forced any longer to live the white man way, quote unquote, live like whites. And there's nothing racial about that. It's just a matter of choice, preference, And they've been given no choice, the limited choice. Here, this is your choice. Do that. Or what? Or that. Psh. 100 years or more of them not being able to practice their own religion because it might scare Whitey. I mean, come on. And slave reparations, yeah, maybe we should make amends there as well. Maybe we should make amends to the Mexican American people who we stole a third of this country from, right? California and New Mexico and Texas and Arizona and all of these states were actually part of Mexico and had a lot of Mexican people living in them and have always been like that, right? And we just absorbed them into our culture as we took over the landscape for manifest destiny, right? So what was this country formed on? What was this country built on? Blood, rape, nepotism, murder, genocide, you'd name it. Anything horrible you can think of, that's what founded this country. And that's how the country just steamrolled, man. So anyway, I'm a little pumped up. A lot of this month, the educational films that I upload will be Native American culture. Mainly because it's Thanksgiving month. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Spanish, Mexican American, Native American, African American, mainly Native American because of the month. I think by the time we get over to back to Juneteenth, it'll be more of a African American thing. And I'll just try to, each month. I think December is going to be about Christmas, its origins, the culture built up around it, the culture of spending and buying and commerce. That pretty much, if you look back 100 years, that's what Christmas started as, right? When we got to advertising in magazines and radio and television and movies and stuff, it just became more and more about, well, geez, how can we sell them this crap, right? Big giant factories, chemical plants, places that would make plastic and make chemicals and things, they would have these excess stuff, right? They would process a specific ore this way, and they would wind up with all of this like fluoride. They would process, I can't remember how it works, but they would process something, and they would, in the process, they would create fluoride, and they didn't know what the hell to do with fluoride. So they had scientists they do this with everything that comes off of a chemical process, and they get all of this extra gook. They have to figure out what to do with this extra gook. And what they mainly are trying to do is figure out how to sell this gook back to us as something. Fluoride, they just spent decades working on what to do with fluoride after they figured out how they could get it. Well, what are we going to, we're creating a lot of fucking fluoride. What are we going to do with it? So they found that it prevents cavities by experimenting on it fighting, battling the corrosion on different things, right? So they put it in big scoops. They put it in tanks that mix into our water system that goes through the pipes to keep the pipes clean because it cuts down on corrosion. So because they put it into the pipes to cut down on pipe corrosion, they have to make it appear that it's okay for us to consume. So they put it in toothpaste too, because it fights the corrosion in your mouth, basically, right? So fluoride was one of those things that just popped up, and they didn't know what to do with it. So they worked and worked and worked and thought, ooh, we can sell it back to people. So everything that they create, anything that falls off, extra, garbage, there's always somebody, a whole department trying to figure out how to create that stuff into a product they can sell back to us. That's how we got plastics and rubber and a lot of the chemicals that we use. You know, a lot of the things that we use today and take for granted are just things that they accidentally created through a chemical process, making something else, and they wound up with this. Well, hey, let's see what we can do with this. There you go. And they use admin to sell it to us, because they figured out that they could sell us anything, get us to buy anything, as long as they give it a slant psychologically that we can grab onto. That's it. Yep. And they've got us figured out. You know, the admin, the guys who make commercials to sell us shit, right? I mean, so much so that they can sell us pills. They tell us right there in the ad, look, this pill is going to make you feel horrible. It's going to give you side effects that you're never, ever going to want. It's going to fix that little itty-bitty problem that you got, but it's going to create a whole slew of problems that you're going to need more pills for, right? And it could kill you, right? And people are running to the doctor saying, ooh, I want those. Or at the very least, they're still taking them even though they know they could die. Why? Because the admin put it together in a pretty little commercial with flowers and dancing puppy dogs and stuff. Something we can grab onto, right? Fantasy. Humans love their fantasy. If you give a human fantasy versus reality, they're going to take the fantasy. Because reality bad, fantasy good, reality bad, fantasy good. That's it. You know, fantasy, feel good. Reality, feel bad. What is reality? Reality is work, traffic, pollution, noise, bills, bills, bills. That's reality. Fantasy, happy fun time. I feel good. Everything makes me feel good here. Isn't this good? Yeah. Why do you think so many people stream? So many people play video games. So many people, their thing is just feeling good all the time, man. Oh, it's 5 o'clock, right? It's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Those people who just have to feel good every second of every day because they know that if they don't, then the reality is going to catch up with them and make them feel bad. So, even though they do their work and they pay their bills and they do all the bad stuff, they have to stay. They got to drink. They got to get high. They got to go out every night and party. Every weekend, it's party time. Every single fucking weekend. Since they were 18 and started working, every weekend is party time. Every morning, every Monday morning, they come in with a hangover. Every Monday, they've got a story about what happened over the weekend, right? Yeah, because, reality bad, fantasy good. Yep. That's why there's such a fantasy slant on religion. That's why, so many people follow a religion, because they put that happy fantasy slant on it, right? Religious texts should be how-to manuals for your soul, but instead they're why you should give the church money books. That's pretty much what it is. That's what I see, I don't see Jesus or God with their hand out, right? I don't see Allah with his hand out saying, you better fill it before I'll let you in, right? The guy at the pearly gates, right? Who the hell was that guy? Saint somebody, or Saint Peter, right? Saint Peter at the pearly gates. He's there at the gates checking IDs, man. He's checking for wristbands. He's checking for tickets. He's taking a little bit in his own pocket to let you in. How it's set up like that for humans to understand better, right? And it's just, if it's set up so that humans can grab onto it and find something they like about it, that's what religion is, then that's kind of not really the way it should be. I mean, religion should be for religion. It should have nothing to do with money. It should have nothing to do with hate or gender or race. It should have nothing to do with liking or disliking any other religion. It should be all-encompassing, right? If it's a true religion, there should be no war involved to proliferate or protect it, right? You should not have to buy people's faith, right? Come on in, and we'll give you a hot meal, and we'll read the Bible together, and give you a nice warm place to sleep. I mean, it's all pretty much bribery, How do we get more people in the church? Well, we'll go after the poor and the destitute, and there's a lot of those. Yeah, we'll get them, and they're easy marks too, man, because they got nothing. Okay. I don't know how many people get pulled into that and then realize that it's more like a cult, right, than a religion. I'm just don't kill the messenger. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just, talking my shit. Trying to play the devil's advocate. Because, like politics, religion is a personal thing. But it's been so publicized now that in order to get more people, I mean, it's like the, that one radio show, the snowball effect, right? Where you want to get more and more people in on the group, So you just keep going out there and going out there. Pretty soon, everybody is of one religion, right? I don't think that's ever. Humans can't agree, basically because of the influences, but humans can't agree on one thing to save their fucking lives, right? If we literally, all humans, had to get together and work together to save humanity, oh wait, that's already happening. Yeah, we're fucked. That's not going to happen. There's no way that all humans, because most of the humans don't want to be told what to do. The ones who will be told what to do, But if we had to get together to save humanity, get on the same page and all work together, there's just no way. There's no way. People are going to see conspiracy. People are going to think, no, I'm not going to go. If everybody's going that way, I'm not going to go that way. If everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? Right? Naysayers, no, it'll never work. You can never. So, of course, they're never going to try. Right? People are just like, what? I can't be bothered with that. I'm too busy. Right? That's bullshit. Work together. Right? Like that's never going to happen. Besides, what's it going to get us? That? Well, that's not possible. My God says that I don't have to worry about that. There's no way you're going to get everybody on the same page with anything, even though we are so more alike than we are different, right? And nobody wants to see that. Everybody wants to be so totally different. Every country has to be so totally different. But it don't matter where you go or where you're from. That country that you're in is just as much like that country on the other side of the planet. You have to look at similarities versus differences, right? What is the same versus what is different, and you find that there are more similarities. You start stacking them up, and you start with the simplest fucking things. We're all human. We all bleed. We all laugh. We all cry. I mean, you start from the most basic, and you start stacking them up that way, so that as you're over here adding up the things that make us different, the things that make us the same are already gone. They're just sky fucking high. Do that. Sit there with your family and talk about all the things that are the same in your life, in your lives, compared to the things that are different, right? Because all of the things that are different are more than likely environmental, which means that we've been programmed with those things, right? Which means we can be unprogrammed. We can be deprogrammed, debugged. We can have these things turned off, not changed, but turned off, so that now we're even more alike than before. We don't want to share these things that make us different because it's good to be different, but we just need to turn off the portion that is competitive in those, right? My way's better than your way, fucker, so I'm going to push it, and go out and protest and hold up signs and say, fuck your way, right? Just, keep that shit to yourself and realize that we're more alike than we are different, right? Fine. Worship that way. That's fine. As long as you're not forcing it upon me, right? And if you're going to do something weird, do it in private so I don't have to see it, all right? That's it. You shouldn't even push that shit on your kids. Your kids should not be forced to think like you, all right? You should raise your kids well enough that they can be free thinkers, and you should be proud that they think like you, not because you forced them to, but because they saw the things about the way you think that they wanted to grab onto and accept as their own, right? Yeah, I don't force my daughter to think anyway at all. I don't even have those long, one-sided conversations that most parents have with their kids that is pretty much a lecture, right? How many of us have gotten the lecture from our parents? Oh my God, I got home last night and got the lecture from my dad, right? Where they just ramble on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking about when they were kids and how they did stuff, and then right, you better straighten up, fly right, and all this crap, right? I never do that with my daughter. If I'm monologuing with my daughter, I'm talking about, some trip that we did way back in the past. I'm talking about something that maybe has some kind of moral compass built into it, but it's for me. It's, I'm not trying to force anything. I'm just telling a story. It's a cute anecdote. It's a story from my past, something that happened to us. I never, ever try to force my wife or daughter to think one way or the other. I just throw up options. What do you guys want? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? This is the way I see it. What do you think? I don't like to get my way. That's too much responsibility. And it's too arrogant, right? It's too one-sided. There's no fun in always getting your way, always everything being about you and your, I can't do that. I love being open to options. It's like, you know what, we plan to do it this way, but your way sounds way better. Let's do that. I wasn't like that before, mainly because I was really trying to find out who the fuck I was, which means screaming it in people's faces. I'm like this, and whoa, I guess you're like that, aren't you? Not literally, but figuratively. Yeah. I was just thinking, yesterday when I took a nap, I laid down and I put Psycho on. And I laid down and I woke up and she was getting stabbed, and then he was disposing of the body, and then I was back out again. Then I think I woke up at one point and there was maybe a detective or a guy. Owen loves his mama. No, that's the wrong movie. Norman. Yeah, weird. I didn't even ask my wife if she continued to watch it after I passed out, because usually she'll just go, turn shit off, and sometimes she'll get into one of the movies I put on. I imagine she probably got into that one because it was a pretty good movie. Yeah. But that's movies right there. I will let my daughter know, oh, you got to watch this movie. It's a great movie. And sometimes she will, sometimes she won't. I won't force the issue. You have to watch it. Sit and watch it. Sometimes I will say, hey, I'm going to watch this movie. Come in and watch it with me. Usually when I do that, if I did it all the time, she'd be like, no, you always pick out stupid movies. I don't want to watch these movies. So when I do say, come in and watch this with me, it's something really, really good, over the edge. I want her to come in and watch Rumblefish with me. Yeah, that's another good one. Just some great movies. Cactus Flower, that was one of them, where it just started, the credits were rolling, and I'm like, you guys got to come in and watch this movie. I just saw it the other day. You have to watch it. And I literally got them started watching the movie and then got up and went to sleep, because I had literally, seriously, just watched it like that week. But I knew that the two of them were really going to love it because it had great actors in it. Goldie Hawn, Walter Matthau, and it was just it's a great frickin' movie. She got an Academy Award for that, Goldie Hawn, Best Supporting Actress. Right out of the boot. I mean, just boom, and she nailed it, right? So I put that on, and all right, you guys got to watch this, and then watched it for a few minutes, and then went and passed out. And they said, yeah, we watched the whole thing, and it was a really, really, really good movie. So I make sure that if I'm going to ask them, well, my wife is different. I'll sit and make her watch some stupid-ass movies just so she and I can just goof on it, right? My daughter doesn't have time to waste goofing on stupid stuff unless it's one of her movies, like Napoleon Dynamite, her favorite movie, right? So I'm sure she'll watch that a million times and goof on it with her friends. But when I'm asking my daughter to watch a movie, I make damn well sure that it's worth her time and that she's going to look at me and go, I love that movie, Dad. Thanks for that. And 99.9% of the time, I'm knocking it out of the park. And she's just like, wow, that's a movie. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. So I get a message from my friend last night. Hey, man, you got any weed? Like, yeah, brother, come on over, man. I'll hook you up. So of course, I was making dinner and had to feed the girls, and he was doing the same at his house. So eventually, he come over and hung out for a little bit, and smoked a couple of bowls, and I sent him home with a little doobage. And but it was neat because I don't get too many house guests, and he's a kid that used to live on the other side of town, and he lived with his grandmother and sister and grandfather and stuff. And his grandfather passed away, and he started seeing a girl, and his sister was married and had a kid, and so things were kind of changing, and Grandma decided, well, she was going to move away, so they actually found a mobile home here in our park. Now, this is a kid that I first met his mother buying a dresser or something off of Craigslist, right? And then gave her my card and actually wound up doing handyman work for her, and then became friends with her. And then her grandson, my friend, needed some work, and I was doing handyman stuff and thought, well, shit, on occasion I need an extra guy. And so I started bringing him to work with me. And so I did that for about a year or so, off and on. You know, every once in a while I'd get a job and I'd go hit him up, and we'd go work together. So that was a neat friendship. So to have him then all of a sudden appear in the park here, they bought a mobile home and moved in. So it's really neat for me to have an actual friend that close by, you know. And they just had a baby a year or so ago, and the baby's, you know, got teeth now, and my wife loves babies. So yeah, that's kind of a neat thing. And I like, to me, getting high is a social thing, which is why I smoke a lot of weed here in the morning, because it's not just about the pain, killing the pain, but it's how I kill the pain. And if I'm going to kill pain using marijuana, I'm probably going to try to do it as socially as possible, where I may not smoke a lot while I'm sitting here by myself, but if I'm on camera, I will. If my wife is sitting over here knitting and we're watching Barnaby Jones, I'll be sitting over here getting high, you know. And she knows that it's just who I am, how I am. If there was somebody else over in the room here that got high, I'd be getting high with them, you know. It was always a social thing, smoking the peace pipe. And it became, when I came back to smoking marijuana because of my back injury, it became more about killing pain, right? But I miss the whole social aspect, because there is ritual and, you know, it really is a social thing in my book. Smoking marijuana, sharing a pipe, sharing a joint, packing a bong and passing it back and forth. I mean, it's not just the weed itself or the getting high, but it's the act, it's the ritual built around doing it, you know? Yeah. So whenever I get a chance to hang out with somebody who smokes, I'm going to, you know, it's like breaking bread with somebody, you know. It's like breaking a doobie with somebody. Let's make a roach, man. Every time that I go to open mic, which isn't that often, and I'm sad to say, I always bring a doobie to smoke with my friend, you know, and we'll get the I'll hang out for a little bit, and he'll get the show rolling, and it'll be like, hey man, and I'll show my secrets box, you know, my little secrets box, because this is back in the day, in the 80s. This is what we used to keep our weed. It's now like it's an Altoids box or something, but back then it was a little metal secrets box, and in mine I keep a pack of papers and a book of matches and an old school roach clip, right? So that's my little kit. So what I'll do is, when I go to open mic, I'll roll a nice fat joint, stick it in here, and then take that with me and share it with that person or persons, because there's that social aspect of that ritual, you know. And I prefer to get high. In fact, there was a time when I only got high with friends. You know, I wasn't one to sit and get high by myself. It wasn't until I would go into these long stretches of depression that I realized that the long stretches of depression would stay longer if I didn't go out and get high with my friends and hang out with my friends. If I got high with my friends, then I would be socially able to socialize. I was actually physically unable to get out and mingle with people. The depression was so debilitating. And getting high would help, but smoking with friends was the real kicker, right? And I noticed that when I had my friend here for a year, and my depression was like unheard of, because every day I'd get up and we'd spend a little time together hanging out and getting high, right? And so I was killing my pain. I was, you know, dealing with my depression symptoms with the marijuana as well, and I was socializing, which really helped the depression. When I lost that person, and in a horrible way, so that all of a sudden this person is yanks themselves from my life and leaves me kind of holding the emotional bag, that's when I created this YouTube morning show where I could get on and talk. So I have that sense of socializing, so that it feels like I'm sitting here hanging out with a friend, bullshitting, getting high, right? So that's what enables me to ward off that depression, along with focusing most of my day on YouTube stuff, on making videos and content and stuff, keeping busy with work, doing whatever is required of me with family stuff, and trying to be involved as much as possible with the girls, the dogs, right? The little tasks that pop up that require my MacGyverness, right? All of these things really help to keep me out of that dark place. So, yeah, mainly YouTube now is that daily companion, that person in the chair next to me, you know, so I can sit here and talk. You know, I don't always get a lot of feedback doing the morning thing, but it's always been more about me unloading, right? Me trying to cope with life and the world, me trying to just keep a record of what the fuck's going on in my head, right? So honesty has always been a huge part of this morning show. If I can't be honest here, I just can't be honest at all with myself. So it's really changed me as a person doing this morning show, because everything that I say and feel here, I have to translate into my real life, or it's not real, it's fake, It's just bullshit. It's just, a producer telling me, feel that way, a director saying, do this while you're on camera. And I can't do that. It started that way. And now it's just me being me. For my own sake, for my own sanity. So I have to be honest. So this is the most honest, the most real reality show there is out there, and it's organic. I've just let it kind of flow, just let it happen. It's not Emmy-winning television, right? This is not one of those shows where I'm going to have 1.2 million followers, because nobody wants to hear a guy talk real about stuff, and nobody wants to hear a guy talk about the stuff that I talk about, because they get too wrapped up in themselves and they get offended and they think that I'm picking on them, right? I'm just talking. And if you get wrapped up in what I'm saying so much that it offends you, then maybe you need to do some introspection like I'm doing, right? Look inward and see why these things are bothering you. Because it ain't me that's bothering you. It's you bothering you. I'm just saying stuff. If you're offended by what I say, then that's on you, right? You can't make me responsible for your feelings. Figure out why you're having those feelings. Investigate your own life. Don't try to control mine and govern what I say. Figure out why the things that I'm saying make you feel that way. Don't take it out on me. I ain't taking it out on you. I'm just saying. So maybe you should think more about what's going on in your own life rather than why I'm saying the things in my life, right? If more people worried about themselves and kept that to themselves, then we'd all be in a better place, right? And fewer people would be controlled by other people's stupid thoughts, right? I'm not telling people to go out and think the way I think. I'm just saying, hey, this is the way I think. It's probably best that most people don't think the way I think, right? I've been ostracized by my own family and friends because of the way I think. So it's probably not a good idea. But if you can't be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with, right? And so therefore, if it hurts somebody for me to be honest, I can't apologize for that. You need to look at why you're hurt because of my honesty. I'm being honest for my sake. It has nothing to do with you. It's going to hurt my soul the more I'm dishonest, the more I'm just talking shit and then going and doing something else, right? It's only going to hurt me. If I have an emotion, I have that fucking emotion. If it offends somebody, maybe you should look into why my emotions are offending you and your emotions. That's kind of on you. Right? Like, oh my gosh. I'm thinking I'm a little bit hungry. But I don't quite know what to eat. We don't do breakfast much in this house. My wife yesterday, she made longaniza, which is like chorizo, right? And eggs and potatoes. And it was delicious. I don't think I want leftover because of the reheating of the egg and everything. But it was really good yesterday. We don't always do a big breakfast. Usually it's a piece of toast or a Danish or a donut or a cereal bar or something, that and coffee. But I get to where, because I get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to be here at 5, yay. And I love doing this, right? It's just become a part. This morning log routine here has just become a part of who I am. Listening to that radio show in the morning and doing that pre-show and my opening credits and sitting here rambling for 3 hours. It's just a part of my normal routine. It's going to be real hard to go on hiatus soon because I'm going to miss doing this. I'm going to have to do, as soon as I can get back to speaking, I'm going to have to start doing a regular log again, and I don't know that I'll be doing it live at first. I'll probably be doing it recorded and then watching and listening to it to see if I feel comfortable with how I sound coming back after my dental procedure. But as soon as I get back to some kind of normality, pardon me, then I'm going to start up the morning show again. I may keep a running log, do an hour a morning of me coming out here, getting on, talking, so that I get used to using my mouth without teeth and with new dentures and just kind of keep rolling along, right? But try to keep a log of what's happening in my head the best I can with whatever voice I have at the time. I think that's going to be important. The psychology behind that. I imagine that at some point my daughter studying psychology, she'll be able to go back and use much of what I have created through my live content and use that as a way to not just get to know me, but to be able to profile me psychologically. Right, at some point later down the road when I'm long gone, she may want to come back and figure out what made Papa the way Papa was, right? And since she was a little baby, I had her call me Papa, which confused a lot of people because I'm old and she's really, really young. So when she called me Papa, people would think, oh, you've got a lovely granddaughter, right? And I'd say, no, that's my daughter. Why'd she call you Papa? Because that's the way she fucking, you know, Laura Ingalls called her dad Pa. Right? Why can't she call me Papa? Right? It doesn't mean grandpapa, right? It's pop. It doesn't mean that. It means whatever the fuck you want it to mean. So Papa sounded good to me. It sounded, I don't know, Nordic or Swedish or something. Papa. So for the first 10 years of her life, she called me Papa. She doesn't really call me Dad or Papa or Father or any of that now, which is pretty cool because I never liked the word dad, right? Father, dad. It sounds too structured, right? And I never liked calling my father dad, right? It always sounded contrived. It sounded fake, right? Which is weird because he was my father. I'm using quotation marks because I don't know if I believe that. So he was my father, which is, you know, so I would call him Dad, but it still felt like I was addressing a stranger, calling a stranger Dad, which is really, really weird. Yeah, welcome to my nightmare. Growing up, not really knowing who you are, why you were, or where you were, you know, not knowing who your parents were, or why they were your parents, your siblings. Everything was like, what the fuck does all this mean? You know, constantly, all the time. Who the fuck am I? Why am I with these people? Who are these people? You know, why am I treated differently? You know, I'm part of this family, but I'm not. I'm you know, they say I am, but everything says differently, right? Mother don't like me, grandmother don't like me, grandmother don't like mother, mother don't like grandmother. That probably is because of me. Why is, you know, it's like so many questions and no answers, right? Anybody with answers is long gone. All right, got some hot coffee. Hot, hot. I said hot. What do you do, right? What do you fucking do? I don't know. I just keep going along. Most of my life, I was just pretending, and hiding, right? Pretending to understand what the fuck was going on. Pretending that I could handle it. Pretending that I gave a shit. I care now. I didn't for so many decades. I just didn't give a shit, you know. Because I didn't know. I still don't know, but at least now I have my own family, right? I've got a wife and daughter who love and care for me, who I love and care for, right? There's a whole thing there, right? And so all of that other stuff just doesn't really matter, you know. And it doesn't matter that it never really mattered, right? It just doesn't, you know. So I can look at it objectively and think, well, I don't hate anybody over it. I didn't like it. I wish it had been different, but had it been different, I wouldn't be the person I am now, and I love who I am now. You know, I enjoy where I'm at, what I do, and the little meager little life that I have, you know, the poverty-stricken world that I live in. It's just, you know, it's a nice, mild place to live. My world. But back then I was a rebel and a fighter, and I was just pissed off at the world. I'm still pissed off at the world, but I allow myself to have the emotions, and I don't bottle them up. Or I don't just scream at the top of my lungs for no reason. Yeah. Dog snoring behind me. Snoring. She's a snoring. Totally. Let's see, somebody wants to be friends. Let's see, who is this? Do I know this person? Well, let me see if I know this person here. I just have to check their profile real quick before I tell somebody, yeah, let's be friends, man. Okay, Disneyland, that's good. That's a plus. I like Disneyland. All right, their posts are family stuff. Mainly birthday wishes, and so they're not so totally into stuff. Okay, they're friends of somebody who I have recently friended, so that's a plus. That's cool. And more than likely they're reunion related, so that's a plus. And they're my age. So that's cool. And for the most part, it doesn't look like they're too overly religious or political, because that can become annoying when every other post they do slants one way or the other in that, you know. And it's I keep trying to tell people it's not a bad thing to have those things in your life. It's when you do them without education. When education is not involved in your thinking, then you're easily swayed by these people who have such great power in your life, right? You give this power over to people and organizations blindly because of what you've been taught or how that it makes you feel, right? And that's just, It's okay to do that and to have those feelings and to follow those things, but to be manipulated by the people behind those things, don't go there, right? That's all I'm saying, you know. So that's why I check to see if anybody's a little this way or that way, right? Because, you know, too much of one thing is just too much of one fucking thing. Move the fuck on. All right, there you go. All right, well, nice person. I accepted their friend request. And there you go. Yeah, I mean, you should hear about political, you should hear about how do we call them? Not political parties, but the one person who is running for a political post, right? That person should be so good at what they do that they're in the media all the time, not because of how much money they spend, but because of how much hoopla they build up around how well they do their job, right? These people should be front and center in the media because they're just that good, right? Not be everywhere on TV and magazines and all over the internet because of how much money they can put into this. You know, that's not a reason to get somebody into office because they have the money to do it. That's not the reason. Because they have the political connections? No. It should be on the individual. The merit of the one person running should get them noticed and get them voted into office. And if one party or the other has to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars just to get you to see their contender, you know, then we're the one that's getting knocked out. We're the one that's getting the shitty end of the deal. Right? So you put the clothespin on your nose and you go in there and you just kind of, okay, this guy isn't as bad as that guy. I'll take this guy. And that's the way it is, you know. And if it isn't, if you're so swayed one way or the other because you believe the rhetoric and the hype, then you haven't taken a look at their actual record of what they've done for us, the people. Okay? You can look at their record and see what they've done for corporate America, okay, or what they've done to set themselves up, or what they've done to make it look like they should be elected next time, right? But you don't see that, you know. You don't see that that spark. You don't see that aha person. They're like, this one person here is going to do it. This one person is going to make everything better, and you believe in it so 100% because they have a track record to prove it, right? You bring us these schlubs who haven't really done anything but talk a lot of talk, right? They make a lot of campaign promises, they get into office, and then they start campaigning to be somewhere else. Right? How many times do we see that? You get, you know, and then they get into to be the president, and then they just do nothing. They just do nothing. They veto, they argue, they fight, they get us into fucking wars, they get the economy into shit, you know. They don't take care of the people. Yeah. Either party, man. Either fucking party. It's fucked either way you go. It's, you know, how fucked do you feel you're going to be? Do I feel like I'm going to be more fucked going this way or less fucked going that way? Yeah. And so I don't want to see political posts where people are, say that you voted. Fine. That's fine. But I don't need to know who the fuck you voted for. That's between you and your polling station and your candidate, right? When you start talking about who you voted for and who you think other people should, it just starts fucking fights. And then you got people voting because my dad votes that way, and if I don't, he's gonna know and he's gonna be mad, right? So you have to vote the way you're supposed to vote, or you gotta lie. Yeah, I voted your way. All those years, Dad, remember? I voted my way. I didn't. What? You son of a bitch. How dare you go against the family? Yeah. So my daughter and I will go out and vote today. We'll go out and do that. And, yeah. She'll go her way. I'll go mine. And it'll be whatever it is, whether it's the same or different. I'm not going to be like, who'd you vote for? It doesn't matter. The fact that she votes, that's what matters, right? It doesn't matter. Well, it matters. It matters to the individual. It matters to the country. But it shouldn't matter between two people. It shouldn't matter between half the country and the other half of the country. It just shouldn't fucking matter. People should not be out in the streets fighting over political fucking candidates. That's the stupidest thing in the world. Guys standing in the streets screaming at each other, ready to beat each other to death over my candidate versus your candidate. I mean, give me a break, right? That's why it should remain private. It's a personal thing. You start talking about go to a rally. Are you for this guy? Maybe, maybe not. What does it matter to you? Well, I'm here to get you to vote for this guy. Well, keep moving, bud. I'm going to vote the way I'm going to vote, and you're never going to know the fucking way I vote. Period. I'm not going to wear political dogma on my person, right? I'm just not going to, right? Yeah. Yeah. Just not going to. I've been swayed. That's pretty much the way it is. So I'm going into this trying to do what's best for my country, not what's best for me and my candidate. And what a hard decision this is, right? Every year it gets harder and harder to decide between which fucking asshole I want in office. This asshole or that asshole. This asshole or that asshole. The assholes are just becoming too outlandish, right? Literally, for the last 30 years, it's 35, it's been like this, right? As long as I've been of voting age, it's been, oh God, this shit again, really? This asshole or that asshole? My only choice is the lesser of two evils, really? Once again? We're never going to get a candidate or a couple of candidates where you really have to go, fuck, man, I can't decide. This guy's really, really good, but this guy's really, really good too. It's not like that. It's like, oh God, it's just really, really bad or really, really bad, worse. One time I would love to be able to vote. It's never going to happen. I'll probably not get to where I can vote again, right? This is probably going to be the last vote. And this is what I get. This is the choice that I get, What? And it's already too late to get anything better, anyone who would pick a running mate that rhymes, whose name rhymes with the last running mate, that's just dumb. And I bet he thought that was the cutest thing in the world. From pence to hence. And don't get me started on the other fucking dick shits. You know, because they're all fucking idiots. All of them. Every single fucking one of them. From the top down. From the bottom up. They're all fucking idiots. We are governed by fools. Which makes us the bigger fools. Right? I mean, I have half a mind to go in there and literally take that ballot and jam it down the back of my shorts and wipe my ass with it, and then, you know, fold it up and jam it in the box, right? Because that's literally the way I feel that they're sticking it to us, right? They're taking our votes and they're wiping their ass because they've already decided. They've already decided that even if we decide wrong, they're still going to decide right for us because we're too stupid. Electoral College. Pardon me. If we're never going to get the popular vote, the real actual count, what's the fucking point? Right? I have to go check on dog situation because I heard. Yeah, well, it wasn't a dog. It was probably this damn house settling, right? Because it's a mobile home. And it's probably just going to sink into a freaking sinkhole at some point. Oh, what I wouldn't give for just a big, giant, 10,000-foot square house on 5 acres. That's all I want. Nothing fancy. Nothing too extreme. Some place where we can pull a tiny home in for my daughter, pull a trailer in for us. And start building little dwellings with inside the warehouse. This is my one biggest dream that I've had for decades, is just some kind of hideaway where it just looks like a warehouse. That's all it looks like, a warehouse with a couple of cars pulled up outside. Must be guys in there working, right? I hear work noise. And you go in and it's just a forest. Skylight, forest, trees, shrubs everywhere, wildlife, and around a corner you see a little building, and then another little building like a Japanese garden, right? And just a little tiny home here, a little room there, library, kitchen, water, lots of green. That's it. Just a place where I can just kind of spend the rest of my days inside this nice little place. Natural lighting, solar and wind generated power, a well with a water pump, you know, self-sustaining, just a little world with inside a building. That's all. It just looks like an old warehouse from the outside, old metal warehouse with a skylighted roof. That's it. Maybe a couple of windows and a little door around the front where you walk in and there's a little office, right? Makes it look like a legitimate little business. No windows around the warehouse. And then you go through the warehouse or through the front office and you're in a jungle. That's it. And from inside the jungle. You can't see that fucking little office. There's no walls. You can't see. There's no walls anywhere. It's all green. It's all bamboo and trees and shrubs, and all the way up to the ceiling. Even ivy and stuff growing up through the rafters and everything, so that it's all just green. Water, a mist system, sprinklers around the outside that waters the forest. You know, birds and bugs and rabbits and squirrels and chipmunks. Yeah. Stalls and pens and stuff outside the warehouse with little entrances in so little pigs can come running through the place and then back to where they live. You know, a horse can come walking through, you know, because his stable is right there and he's got a way that he can walk through and come in. Other domestic and non-domestic animals can kind of just intermingle with the people. That'd be so sweet. A place for, you know, for small wildlife to be able to come through. That'd be neat. Of course, nowadays you could have face recognition programs on cameras that open and close doors, so when a camera recognizes that it's a deer, the door opens and lets the deer through. But when it sees that it's a coyote or a wolf or a bobcat or something, it keeps the gates closed and won't let the animal through, right? Nowadays you could do something like that and have a security system that's designed for wildlife. But that's just the way I think. I just think weird like that. But that would be nice to just have a big piece of property with a big building, and you just kind of live in the building, but you live with nature. You live side by side with nature within this like unnatural dwelling. That'd be cool. So at some point, you know, if I won the lottery or some lovely soul won the lottery and wanted to finance a little haven like that, I'd be totally up for it. I better get started quick, though. I don't think I got much time to make a big giant plan like that. Yeah, dreams. I've always been a dreamer. I always come up with these real elaborate dreams and then make all of these plans to make that dream happen, and then it just kind of fades away. You know, I'm just going to fade away. All those dreams are going to fade away. I'll tell you what, if anybody's out there and they have the means to take on any of these dreams that I've created, go for it. You'll have fun. You know, people out there that don't really have the capacity to imagine and dream, take some of these ideas and run with them, man. Another dream. There's this old naval academy in my hometown of Lake Elsinore, right? And it's an old building, a big, giant, double-wing building with lots of rooms, you know, and main building and all of this stuff, and this big, giant pool and a big piece of property. Now, one of my dreams is to buy that and turn it into an audio, video, film, and television school slash working studio, right? So people can go there, built for local Southern Californians, right, in the area, so that they can go there and not just learn how to do this stuff, but to actually do it, right? Have music, have video, have, film, and just have everything that you could possibly think of in classrooms throughout that entire building, and classrooms and studios and working sound stages and auditoriums and places where you can do plays and create films and do music and learn music and do soundtracks and record songs and everything that you could possibly think of to do with audio and video would be in this one place, right there on the lake, right there in that old building, and then actually have a couple of dormitory type buildings on the property where people could, not just go to school there, but come and live there. That would be sweet. That would be a big dream of mine to start something like that. Because that's something that would have changed my life had I had that influence after all of the audio video stuff that I was involved in with my father growing up. Had I then moved to that town and had something like that waiting for me, it would have written my life in a totally different direction. I still think that, honestly, I probably would have eventually wound up with the person and the family that I have now. I think it was just destiny. It was inevitable. Maybe mainly because I had no choice but to wait, right? Everything that I saw about marriage and families and lifestyles and stuff told me, don't do it. Don't get married now. Not that person, not that person, not that person, not that person. And I just waited and waited and waited until I found someone who I believed in my heart of hearts that we're going to be together forever. At least whatever forever is, right? Sweet and hot. So mainly what the qualities that I looked for in finding a mate was someone who I wasn't going to want to divorce. Right? That was it. I didn't believe in all of that stuff that I was told to believe, where there's soulmates and people were meant to be together. And because all that usually means is divorce in about 3 years and kids that are going to be unhappy as fuck for the rest of their lives. So I never went in for that, the perfect person for me is, which is what I kept looking for, which was why I was so unhappy in dating and in trying to find a mate, is that I was setting myself up for failure by looking for a specific person. This is the person that I'm supposed to be with, a blonde hair, blue-eyed, 5'6" girl who rides horses and has a pickup truck and accepts me the way I am. And that's like right. No. I had so many hopes built up into this person that I wanted that I was never going to find that person. Nobody was ever going to fit that I had created. Nobody was ever going to be that good. Because I was looking for something that I had been programmed to want. Well, guys like me, we have to, in the movies, in the TV and everybody, the media, it always shows a guy like me paired up with a girl like that, right? So that's what I was looking for. Now, no dark hair, no blonde. She's got to be no red hair. No, it's got to be a blonde hair, blue eyed. No, it can't be. Now she's got to have green eyes. Yeah, that'd be cool. But blue. It's got to be blue. I mean, I was literally stuck. So that I would date a girl And it'll be like, you're just not the one because you don't fit that image, right? And would never go in any further to find out if we actually were, you know. And when I would finally threw all of that away and just decided, you know what, I'm just going for a person who I know we are going to get along. Someone who can make me laugh, someone who I can make laugh anytime, no matter what the fuck is going on, right? And if not, someone that I'm not going to hate because of some stupid shit. Someone who's not going to burn me, right, for their own gratification or self, you know. And it took me by surprise when it happened, you know, because I wasn't out for it. I had just decided, all right, this is what I need, this is what I want. Now that I've figured it out, I'm never going to get it. So I was just resigned to being alone. And that's, of course, when it happened. Like, oh, shit. Out of the blue. It's like, all right, so this is going to be unlike anything that I ever imagined. So maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. After 8 months, it was like, well, let's just get married. Right? I don't see this needing to go, you know, backward. Let's just keep going forward. Let's not, you know, we don't need to just stay in one spot, you know. Let's just date forever. And then I could just decide, I'm sick of you, I'm moving on. We ain't married, right? Oh, I remember how many people, I don't remember how many people I've heard say that in their relationship. We ain't fucking married, get the fuck out of here if you want. I don't know you a fucking thing. Oh, that's you know. And the rest of the time they're saying, oh, like, we're like married, like husband and wife, you know. This is my husband. Are you married? No. But we're really like married. Until he says, fuck you. If you want to move, get the fuck out of here. I don't know you shit. You ain't taking nothing either. And then the next week, oh, I love you, honey. We're married. Right. Married people should not even think that way. If you even think that way about the person that you're with, don't get married. I know from the moment I decided that this was the person for me, right? I knew right then the divorce was never going to enter into the picture. It's going to be one of those death do you part things, right? Because neither one of us want that kind of drama. Neither one of us want to invest everything that we are and have into something that's just going to go poof, right? And if you can do that and then just go poof and walk away, it was never meant to be, right? How many people have had relationships that have lasted years that were just never meant to be, and we were just in it for a piece of ass, or we were just in it to keep from being lonely, or just to have that extra person around. We're roommates. But honey, nah, we're just roommates, baby. Yeah. I can't believe it's after 7 already. Man, I've been rambling all morning. Yeah. Totally Television Tuesday. Lately I've been watching a lot of Hardcastle and McCormick, right? With Brian Keith. Great show. My Secret Identity, Jerry Connolly. Erie. What is that show called? Something Erie, Indiana. You know, about the kids and the it's like a Twilight Zone, X-Files type show for kids from back in the 90s, I believe. So yeah, I've been watching that. We've been kind of busy all weekend, so we've only watched a little bit of Barnaby, but we're just about done with the final season. which means we're going to have to move on to something else. And it's kind of a bummer because I love Buddy Ebsen. I'm not a fan of Beverly Hillbillies. I'm just not. It's kind of a hick show. And besides, when you spend your life living much like hillbillies do, you don't want to watch people doing that shit. You know, it's like, I don't want to watch Sons of Anarchy because I knew so many people who were like that, bikers and tweakers and junkies and thugs, and I don't need that. I don't need to watch that. I don't need to watch prison movies. I don't need to watch shows about prison life. What is that? What does that accomplish, right? Just give me a fucking break. Or those the black is the new orange, or orange is the new black, or something, right? Why? Why would you want to watch, unless you've been there and that's your life, right? I don't get it. I don't understand it, you know. Yeah. Why would you? Yeah. If I were to make a show about my life, a movie or a TV series about my life, I would try to make it appealing, right? It would have much of the same content, characters, as something like Sons of Anarchy, but I think it would be more entertaining, right? Less shock and awe and more of wow, no shit, right? More and less of holy hell, jeez, what a oh man, did they really have to do that? Blood everywhere, jeez. Now, you can say more with, you know, with like the eyes, right? I just watched Alfred Hitchcock in Psycho, right? If you just look into somebody's eyes and show close-ups on their eyes and nostrils flaring and their teeth gritting and sweat and drool and forehead wrinkling, right? If you just show all of these things on the face of someone who is committing a murder, right? Isn't that more dramatic than showing the actual murder? You hear the person being choked and fighting to survive, and every once in a while maybe you see a hand come up and hit that face, but all you see are close-ups of portions of somebody's face as they're choking the life out of somebody, right? Now, wouldn't that be more dramatic and more horrifying than to see some guy's hands around somebody's neck and them flailing, right? That's real, and it might even look real, but is it entertaining, or is it just shock and awe, right? So if I were going to do a movie or a scene with, I would probably take from the masters and show just enough to make you feel what I want you to feel, but let you have the freedom to interpret what is happening in your own mind, right? Which is where the real entertainment is, where you are responsible for filling in the gaps, right? When you hear that gurgle and that gasp, you have to imagine, you know, and maybe it's a fight between the eyes on the killer and then the eyes on the victim, right? Maybe we'll go back and forth on just portions of their two faces compared, you know, his mouth versus her mouth, his eyes versus her eyes, you know, I mean, back and forth, where you just see close-ups, you know, you just see the close-up of knuckles grabbing onto a shirt and squeezing, you know. That to me is way more of an impact than it would be to just straight shots of death, right? Blood and gore and violence, right? It would be more emotional, way more entertaining. So I would definitely pull from the masters and try to show more with less and give the audience the opportunity to see it from within inside their own mind at the same time as watching it, right? Everybody's going to see it differently and come out of that movie theater going, wow, did you get it? Yeah, but did you get it, right? Totally. Because I've written some stories about my life, if it were a TV series, right? And while I try to say a lot, I try to leave a lot up to the imagination of the viewer. Give you just enough to bring you along so that you're filling in the gaps with your own imagination or with your own memories of that period, that era. Because we've all been everywhere and every time, right? We've all been every when. We're all time travelers. If you look at your energy as being a continuation of the energy that's always been on this planet, then there you go. There it is. We're all connected through time and space, and we've all lived through time and space as energy for as long as the energy has been around and as long as our energy will leave us and continue on, right? That's the thing that leaves our body, the 21 grams or whatever. That's the thing that leaves us, is that energy when we die. So that energy has to go somewhere. Does it go into someone else? Does it just go out into the ether and just mingle with the rest of the stardust? Who knows? You know? I think that we're all connected through time and space because we've all been through all of time and space because of the energy that binds us and connects us together. It sounds like a fucking Jedi, man. Right? So there you go. Moving on. Let's keep packing this bong until it's all over with. I don't know what the fuck's going on today. I know that my daughter is not in school today. She's got a class tonight online. I don't know what my wife has planned. I know that if I don't get up and start doing something right away, I'm just going to want to veg out and probably go back to sleep. Mainly because I only get about 3 or 4 hours sleep at night. So it leaves me wanting more sleep during the day, which usually leads to a nap. Yeah. Not that I want to nap. It's nice because I'm exhausted by noon or 2 o'clock, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in bed. I did that through enough decades of depression that I spent in bed. I don't want to be there anymore. I got no choice. I just run out of energy. My insomnia dictates that I sleep this amount then and this amount then, and that's it. Now, it's going to change once I give up this coffee, because it's coming to the end of the year, and I've been so abusive with my body and with coffee and that kind of stuff, that I feel like, all right, it's time for me to ease up off the whole coffee thing for a little while, and usually I'll switch to tea, right? But I think I'm going to go a different route, and I'm just going to get up and have some kind of breakfast drink, something with protein and vitamins, some kind of shake that's going to give me not so much energy, but nutrition. I don't want to drink an energy drink. I don't want to drink one of those foo-foo things that the media says, ooh, this is what you're supposed to drink this year, because this is the in drink. Get it on Amazon Prime. That's not me. That's not the kind of guy that I am. I am going to go and probably investigate some old school nutritional drinks, something that's got a good track record, and something that's good for the body. You know, right now I drink those little nutrition shakes, and I drink one of those every couple of days just to try to keep me fattened up. Right? It's not necessarily what I need or what's good for me, but that's what I got right now. So I'm going to investigate something a little bit better. You know, I've tried a couple of things and never really felt good with it. I need something that I can mix with milk so that I get that extra food protein thing going on. So I need something that's going to work like Tiger's Milk, the old Tiger's Milk powder, that type of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be looking for to replace my coffee fix in the morning. Something that may or may not give me a little bit of a boost, but after a little while without the coffee, it's not really going to matter, right? And that's probably going to help my sleeping and my sleep routine. Yeah, because I've got some physical deals that I got to deal with. So and along with the whole denture thing, I'm really going to be fighting to stay alive, to stay healthy, right? So I need to give up some of the bad stuff. I need some kind of liver detox so that the smoking of the pot is probably the worst thing for me at this point that I do. And it's probably damaging my liver and lungs the most. I don't see myself surviving what's really wrong with me. I just see myself trying to last as long as possible while what's wrong with me is slowly killing me. And just like I don't like to do birthdays and talk about age because it don't impress me much. I don't like to address health issues and give them a name and talk about them and give them credibility in my life, right? And then they take over my life. My whole life is about fighting this. And it's like, you know what? I know when to fight and I know when to just go with it, right? And if the options that I see are my only options for taking care of whatever may or may not be wrong with me, I'll just go it this way, right? Because I don't need to be butchered and radiated and dissected and vivisected while I'm fucking alive, you know? That's for dead bodies, you know? Experimentation like that shit. Or for fucking prisoners. You know, we should have done enough experimentation to be past this bullshit fucking medieval medicine that we're practicing. You know, it's either these bullshit fucking procedures that you have to do these procedures because the insurance companies won't pay for real stuff to be done. They pay for this bullshit, this butchering, right? Oh man, God, don't even get me fucking started. I don't want to be butchered. That's it. I want to go out whole. You know, it ain't gonna be pretty. Ain't gonna look pretty. Ain't gonna smell pretty. Ain't gonna. It already don't taste pretty. My taste and smell are so fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. Spending as much time with my family as I can. You can't live forever. You can't say, "Ooh, I'm gonna see everything." No, that ain't gonna happen. We don't do that as humans. We're born, we live, we die. That time period could be anything from minutes to a century and beyond. For most of it, most of us, it's about, 50 years or so. It's about the truth of it. So all I can hope is to get as much time in with this little family I created before I'm ejected from the game. And to try to record as much of myself as I can, because most of us leave this world and we don't really leave a whole lot behind. Some photos, some videos, a whole lot of crap that we've collected, a bunch of bills, and a bunch of sad people, right? That's usually what we leave behind. I plan on leaving a legacy of me by using YouTube and the videos and all these hard drives that I have stacked up here, creating as many videos as I can that mean something to me in my little world, and trying to do these videos where I can actually record my thoughts, my likes, my hates, my wants, my desires, my dreams, my goals, my aspirations, my love. That's what this is all about. So I'm just trying to do as much as I can for me while I'm here, and putting enough down to remind people that I was actually fucking here. That's the key. That's the thing that I'm trying to do. Being forgotten. After a couple of generations, most people are forgotten, because the people who they meant the most to have been removed from the picture, and then those people have been removed from, and so on down the line. So you get to a generation of people who never knew this person, or the importance of the person, or the significance of that person to their lives, right? Because as humans, we keep a family photo album, we keep, maybe a family tree or a Bible with a list of births and deaths and that kind of thing, but we don't really keep a family history, right? We don't keep a personal history, a personal log of who we are and who we were. And that's pretty much the crux of this channel, that and time travel, because I don't just live in the now. I live in the past and dreaming of the future. So the best thing I can do is just sit here and ramble and share as often as possible things that mean something to me, so you get more of an idea of who I am. That's it. So when historians come along and dig this shit up somewhere, hundreds of years later, they'll plug me into a computer and turn me into an AI so they can talk to and figure out what the hell was happening back then, right? Because most of the people who we have a lot of video and audio of are guys who are talking about stuff, right? TV show guys, TV show hosts, TV radio guys. They're not talking about themselves. They're talking about politics and entertainment and religion and all these other... They're talking about everything else but themselves, right? So while we could take everything we have on, say, Don Knotts, right? Take all of the information we have on Don Knotts, or all of the information we have on, what's his face, the guy that was on the radio, Rush Limbaugh, right? Take everything we have from Rush Limbaugh, feed it into a computer, and turn him into an AI. Well, it's going to have everything that he talks about. That's going to be his... It's not going to really be him. It'll be all of that stuff that he talks about. Whereas if you were to take my stuff and plug it into an AI, you would have more of who I am than of what I, want to talk about, right? Yeah, I get in on certain subjects and go rant and rave about things, but I also talk a lot about me and my own personal life and history, which is pretty much, I think, what it would be for the most part, I think. AI stuff. I think if I had a dream, it would be that they could actually figure out how to, on the moment of dying, right? You know your time is coming, so you put on this thing, and it starts just recording everything about you, all of your. Of course, these things should eventually become standard in humanity, and I'm talking about a humanity that governs its birth rate and doesn't overpopulate, right? So that we actually need people from the past coming and inhabiting artificial beings or computers in order to facilitate things functioning on a more human level, right? So toward the time of your dying, or throughout your entire life, you're kind of plugged into a device that records everything about you, your emotions, your thoughts, your likes, your dislikes, your memories, everything, every single thing about you is recorded into this thing, so that when you pass away, you don't really pass away, but your whole being is now absorbed at the end into this, because we're all just energy, right? And once we figure out a way to capture that energy, we can take all of those memories with that energy and install those into an artificial being, right? And send those out into space and use those people as explorers of the beyond, right? I don't know, sounds fun to me. Sure, I'll continue to live as some kind of artificial intelligence, but not really artificial, because you are just transferred from one container to another. That's it. You know, the body is just a machine, right? The brain is just electrochemical responses and to stimuli and recordings of things through synapses and little connections and stuff. My daughter's learning about this stuff right now, so she probably knows more about it than I do. And the fact that she's got a good memory, right? So that she remembers this stuff, and it just kind of becomes a part of who she is, right? And she's always coming up to me, and I'll say something, and she'll, no, it's actually like this. And I go, oh, no shit. And I don't make her out to be a genius, but I don't make myself out to be a complete idiot. But to be taught stuff correctly by your child is really awesome, and to be able to accept that and go with it, right? Yeah, listen to your elders. I'm always right. Yeah, that's how I grew up. I'm right because I'm older than you. No, my daughter at this point, she's way smarter than I was at her age, and way smarter than I am now. Yeah, she's highly intelligent. She is modest, so she won't give herself credit where credit is due, so I have to boast about her all the time. Yeah, we need more people like her, and the planet would be in a much better place. Much better place. Not because of how she believes or how she votes or, what religion she follows or her musical interest, because she's a good-hearted, intelligent individual with a good moral compass, Totally. So what's going on this week? Not a whole lot. I've got 3 Post-its in front of me 2 of the Post-its are movies that I downloaded, films that I downloaded that I'm going to spruce up and put on my channel, most of which are Native American in study. So I'm going to be dealing with that. And then the other Post-it is things I need to think about. Of course, voting is today, and I need to call and find out about shirts. I need to dig around and dig up some old technology and some old video and audio footage of stuff. And I still need to winterize outside. My van is working, so I can actually drive my van. The only bummer is I got to drive it down to the gas station, and it's a 5.9 Magnum. So, sheesh. It's a good thing that I live in a small town, right? So even if I'm going to work, I don't go more than a couple of miles for the commute, right? Literally, I think 5 miles is the furthest place, just up the street. But that's about the furthest place that we go to work. Everything else is pretty close, you know. I think the furthest thing away are my friends who live down at the other end of the basin, and the open mic place that I go to. I mean, those are like the furthest away. Pappy and Harriet's. And they're only about, they're less than 20 minutes away. So that's cool. So I can, you know, fill up the tank on the van for like $100 and then literally drive it forever, because I'm not going anywhere, you know. I mean, but I start the van up and it warms up. Normal people will be halfway to where I'm going in the time that it takes me to warm up my vehicle, right? Dude, is it time? Yeah, it is almost time. Look, I got about 15 minutes to go, and then it's time to go. Isn't that screwy? Yeah. So yeah, I really do need to get the shirt thing going. I've just been, you know, when people say that they're sick, I tend to just back the fuck off, right? And I don't like to come around later and say, hi, I hope you're feeling better. Where's my stuff, right? They know what's going on, right? They've either got time to deal with it or they don't. I'm not throwing tons of money at them, so I can't say, hey, hurry up, right? All I can do is say, hey, I can make more money if I've got the shirts. That's all I can do. And then when I get there, then, hey, it's like, here's more money, more money, more money, more money. The more money I throw at them, the faster service I'm going to get. As I start to get more donations for more shirts, it should start to snowball and go faster, right? So, yeah, I have to, what I need to do is I need to make a calendar. I need to make a weekly agenda where it's like, okay, this day here is specifically for working on this. Here's a shirt day. Every day every day of the week, every day, every week, this particular day is my day for working on this particular thing. And he sounds like a crazy guy. Is he all right? Too much coffee. No. I just get so excited about all of these things that I have to do, and having like minimal physicality to do it. And then I get tired so easily. You know, it takes the excitement right out. I'm all excited here. It gets done here. I'm all worked up. And then by the time I'm ready to start doing something, I'm just exhausted. You know. But if I don't keep busy, every minute of every day, I start falling into that dark, depressing place, and I don't want to go there. I don't like it depressing now. I don't like it at all. So I fight to stay out of there. That's my fight for survival. It has nothing to do with my health. My health is fucked. I'm used to having shitty health. Over the last 10 years, I've been like the frog in the pot of boiling water. I got set into that water, and it was nice and room temperature. And slowly that pot's been turning up to a boil. And I'm just cozy as can be, because I've just been used to it as it's been getting hotter and hotter and hotter. I've just gotten used to it. And it's like that with my pain and my physical ailments. I just get used to being in pain. You know? Hey, honey, I'm in pain. Oh, honey, you're always in pain. And it's just like that, you know. Everybody's just used to me being in pain. Yeah, my pain. Yeah, my health. Yeah, my this, my that. You know. And that's going to snowball out of control. Where it's like, he said something about that. Wasn't he saying something about that for the longest time? Well, we should have done something about that. Yeah, I should have. Long ago. But you get just so wrapped up in earning that bread and paying those bills and making sure that everything gets taken care of, that you just suck it up, take the pain, and move on, you know? And you take that pain, and then pretty soon you can take that pain and you don't even fucking feel it. And then some more pain comes along, and I can take that. If I can take that pain, I can take this pain. And you take more pain, and you get used to that pain. And pretty soon, you're in so much pain that anybody else in the same amount of pain would be crawling on their hands and knees to the emergency room to deal with that fucking pain. But you're like, fuck it. You know, I see doctors and dentists and stuff, and they go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Why? You're in a lot of pain, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can deal with it. It's just fucking pain, man." It's like, you got a really high pain threshold. They're poking me and jabbing me with needles, and, you know, I mean, the guy sticks a needle into my face to numb, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. No flinch, no, you know, nothing. It's like it goes in, I don't move, I don't flinch, I don't jerk, you know, I don't go, you know, and the doctor's like, holy hell. Starts poking me and jabbing me with knives and shit. And he's like, look at this guy. I think he's dead. No, you just get used to it. You know, the pot of water is boiling. And I'm just happy as can be. It's like a fucking jacuzzi in here. Oh, yeah. If they opened me up now and took a look inside of me to see what was wrong, that's when I'd be afraid. Right? That's when I'd be scared to death. The pain end of it, bring it on. You know, we're all gonna go out. We're born, we live, we die. The amount of pain we experience is different for different people in different lives and stuff, right? I happen to have a very painful life. From beginning to end, very, very painful. From the beginning, when chickens were pecking at my little baby feet, and I was getting smacked in the face by, you know, metal fire engines, getting stitches at, you know, 4 years old, going hungry, being cold, being emotionally abused. Yeah, I've been in one kind of pain or another my entire life. My entire life. If I could sum up one word that describes my life, pain. Pain. Another word would be pain and depression. But I think pain would probably be first, because the depression brings on a lot of pain, a lot of misery, a lot of emotional pain, right? So, yeah. Pain, depression, which begets like self-loathing, right? Where you just, forever you just hate yourself because of the way you are, who you are. You know, nobody likes you, so you hate yourself because nobody else likes you. You know, so you hate yourself, so you don't like you. You do things to yourself that you wouldn't do to other people. Why? Because you like those other people, but you don't like yourself. Even the people that hate you and pretend, oh, I like you, man. Oh, God, I hate this fucking guy. You'd love those people, even though you know secretly they hate you. Because it's written all over there. It's secret, but it's written all over their face that they're just pretending to like you because they have to, right? Family and then friends of family are pretty much in the same category of people who pretend to like you because they don't really have any choice, you know. The other option is to do what I've done with most of my family, and it's to just be honest and say, hey, you know, you don't really like me. You don't, you know, do we really know each other? That kind of shit, you know. And then I get too honest, and then I get into trouble that way. So people don't like me because I'm too honest. What can I do, you know? I can't just fucking go around the rest of my life and lying and buttering everything up and pretending. I don't want to hurt their feelings, you know. I'm not going to talk shit on my parents because they're dead. They're dead, so now they're glorified, you know, into some, you know, Mother Teresa fucking image. No. If I didn't like them then I don't like them now. If they treated me like shit then I'm not going to look back and go, oh, well, they treated me like shit, but they're dead now, so I'm going to have to like them now, not talk shit on them. Don't speak ill of the dead. Give me a fucking break. Like, nobody's going to talk shit on me when I'm gone. They talk shit on me now. What's going to change it when I'm gone? Don't speak ill of the dead. Talk shit on me when I'm dead. Go ahead, and then watch some of these videos and see how I'm talking shit on you, right? Whatever. Yeah, if having emotions and expressing them hurts people and makes people think that I'm picking on them and talking shit on them, well, fuck them. You know, they don't have sense enough to realize what the fuck's going on and what I'm really doing and what I'm really talking about. They don't get it, so let them interpret it their own fucked up way, right? There you go. There you go. I don't know that I know my wife doesn't get it. She doesn't get this at all. She doesn't understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what good it does for me. The only thing she does see is that I'm less depressed, I'm less of an asshole, I have less anger issues, right? I'm more true to what I say and what I do, right? Most of us out there can't say that, right? So in that, I'm teaching a lesson to my daughter, who she gets it more than my wife. She understands more. Both of them accept it completely, that this is what I do and this is, you know, just something that's a part of me. My wife doesn't get it at all, doesn't understand, but she accepts it fully. My daughter, she understands it to the extent that she can understand it because she's not me, right? But I think she understands it, that this is just what I need. That's what I do. I need this psychologically, mentally, emotionally. I need to do this every day. And I need to be able to sit here and use my imagination and my creativity to play with all of this stuff and create videos. You know, it's fun. It's fun. It's my little hobby. You know, and yeah, I have people in my life who accept me even if they don't quite get me, right? So this is my old business card when I was a handyman, and it's just a photo of my dog, right? It's just a photo of my dog here, looking through a fence. And it just says, you know, all of the stuff that we do. One-sided card. I got these hobby cards, which they look like business cards, right? They got my phone number and name and all of that stuff, and it says that I retro videos. What does it say? I've got bad eyes here. Retro videos using vintage equipment. And then it's got Elsinore Brothers Studio, where I can be found, Mondre Media Productions, and it's got an old 16 millimeter projector, and then it's got a reel-to-reel, right? And then on the back, it's got my morning show graphics. And I just wanted a card so that when I went out, I could let people know where to find my YouTube stuff. So I have these little cards, and it's got my YouTube information, my Facebook information, my phone number, so you can actually message me directly. These are great because I'm going to be sending these out with the order forms and the donation forms that I'm going to be sending to anybody who gets a shirt from me is going to get that. If you want more shirts, here's your personal thing. If you want to do donations and gather more donations, here's a form for that, right? It's not tax deductible. It's not that kind of a stuff. We're donating to buy Kool-Aid and cookies and a band and a place to hold it and transportation to and from the airport for people who are coming from out of state, and to pay for tours and bikes and boats and that kind of stuff, so that it's one summer you'll never forget kind of a thing. So we're donating for that. We're not for a cause, but for an event. You're prepaying your tickets to this thing, or prepaying somebody else's ticket just by donating and getting the shirts. It's going to be about the shirts. Donating is going to become more about shirts than about, here's my money for the event. It's going to be about, here's my money, give me my shirts. Where's my oh yeah, shirts. That's what it's going to be about. So you can hear the trash man out there. So I'll be sending my cards. I'll be sending donation forms. I'll be sending shirt information forms, so you can put the name, the donation, their address if they want it shipped to them, their shirt sizes, the design, the 2 designs they want, right? And then I'll send pictures of those designs. And then these people will be on a mailer where I will be sending them, at some point. It's like, okay, here's all the designs, and here is another order form, another donation thing. If you want shirts, if you want to donate, however you're looking at it, we're ready for you. So, all right, people. The trash man is going to go driving by. It's just about 8 o'clock. I am going to cue up some end credits here, and we are going to get ready to roll. I have got to go take a whiz really, really bad because of all this coffee. So I'm going to get up and go do that, all right? At this point in the show, I like to listen to the trash man go by, because they'll usually drive right by my window. There he goes. Cause it's a trash man. Yeah, it's a trash man. Sheesh. Sheesh. All right, there goes the trash man. Okay, people, I am going to exit the show, and I am going to play my end credits here. And y'all know what to do, right? Be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit, right? Do something for yourself, but do something for somebody else, because we're not alone out there. But most especially, people, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna do it for you. All right, people, you take care. I will see you tomorrow morning. Love ya. Adios. Bye for now.